Oh, Rampage, baby. I don't know the Rampage song. I know the Dynamite one distinctly. I just cannot recall the Rampage one. It's a Rampage. That's all I know.
This is Rampage.
Here we go.
Says it at the end.
3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Ring Post Radio. I'm your little purple-faced gremlin over here, Ryan Knightsey. As you can tell, we are now streaming. I got my Wi-Fi figured out. It's working. I did blow a power outlet last night watching the Royal Rumble. That's a whole other story. But I'm here. I'm ready to fear Bray Wyatt, and I'm ready to talk about all that's in front of us. I am joined, as always, by the one and only Scotty Edwards. Scotty, how are you doing today?
I am exhausted.
That was a long show last night.
It sure was. It sure was. It may have only been 5 matches, and 2 of them lasted maybe like 5 minutes each, but it was sure a long show. I remember the days when these used to start at 7. Oh, how I miss those.
I'm confused. Well, I guess I didn't. Let me start off. Let me start with an actual sentence. I thought it started at 7 because they typically start at 7, and then I was like, "Oh, it starts at 8." Okay, and then it went super long. I was like, "Why is this going so long?" And I realized, oh, they're in San Antonio, Texas. It probably started at 7 for them.
It switched back to 8 o'clock pay-per-views when COVID ended.
That's probably true. And also, it's a Saturday, so they can get that.
Not
that
COVID
excuse.
ended, but fans came back. I've just decided that they did it because West Coast was watching pay-per-views at 4 rather than 5, but I don't know. I'm just trying to make myself feel better because I'm sitting here and I'm like, why is this still going on? It's 12:15 and I'm just seeing Sami Zayn get hit with a chair. Like, what is happening? Spoiler, I guess. But otherwise, I'm here, I'm present, ready to go.
Yeah.
We don't have as
Lighter
show
for just.
It's a very much lighter show, but I guess it's like one of the only WWE pay-per-views that will take us more than like 10 minutes to go through. So
yeah,
I guess it makes up for it.
Yeah, we got a lot of Royal Rumble specific conversations, and then weird topic points regarding like Mountain Dew, the only women's match on the show, I guess, other than the Royal Rumble.
It's very funny.
And the angle, quote unquote, in all caps, in quotes, the angle.
This Kurt Angle. This pay-per-view was longer than most AEW pay-per-views. It just didn't have the pre-show to play along with.
That might be true.
But this went past 12, and at least usually those end at 12.
Yeah.
But those also have like 9 more matches on the main card. So think of that. Think if that's better or worse, and you could decide that.
Yeah, both Rumble matches themselves were hour plus.
Yeah, they were thick. They were thicker than they almost ever are.
They had a couple C's on that too. A couple C's in that thickness.
Yeah, they sure did. Oh man. Anyways,
let's get to the show. Of course, we're going to talk about the Royal Rumble today. It was a big old pay-per-view last night. Our PLE, we're going to talk about Stardom Supreme Fight, which is coming up this Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. We also got a couple news, little bits. It's a lighter show. We're going to talk mostly about the Royal Rumble. Reveal the results of our bet, our Royal Rumble bet, and who will have to live stream NWA Nuff Said on not this weekend but next weekend, I believe the 11th. We'll talk about that. We'll reveal those results. And let's get to the show, I think. Let's start off with some news bits. So news bits, number 1, Scotty. This is gonna be a fun little spot. I just love this little news item that came out over the weekend during the WrestleMania backstage conversation, the interview media row, as it were. Nick Hausman, of course, we all know Nick Hausman, a guy who has exclusives with the Punk camp. He talked to Seth Rollins over the weekend and asked him, as a fellow Ring of Honor Chicago-based, Illinois-based guy, would he want CM Punk to show up in WWE? And Seth Rollins' response, quote, "Stay away, you cancer. Get away from me forever. I don't like Phil. He's a jerk. Did we just figure that out? We figured it out over there. We knew it over here. I don't want him back. Go do something else. Bye-bye. See you later." So, sure, I mean, he may or may not be playing into the heelness of it all, but boy howdy, what a statement.
I think what he's playing into more is he knew who was asking him the question as well.
Yeah.
And he's like, "All right, well, here's your answer, buddy." I mean, he probably, there's probably definitely some truth to that. Obviously, it's, you know, as we've talked about many times on this podcast with Mr. CM Punk, is that there's going to be more people that don't like him than that do. And that's just going to be the reality of it moving forward. And the reality is also he's going to like less people than he actually does. It may news waves, but honestly, this is like the type of news thing that will be forgotten in like 2 days.
Oh yeah. I just
It's
wanted
like, but it is very funny to me that he played into it so much at a WWE presser type thing of all things, or whatever it was, not a presser, but media day.
yeah.
He's just like, yeah, fuck this guy. I respect that.
Yeah, it is as most as he can say without saying "fuck this guy," "boo this man." I just first of all, I just wanted to say it because it was a nice little bit here, but also I just love that Nick Hausman's the guy asking the question. We all know Nick Hausman's relationship to CM Punk. Uh, I love that it's Seth Rollins who has said time and time again that I don't like this man. I love Nick Hausman asking Seth Rollins, "Yeah, would you like to see him?" It's like this. If you did your research, Nick, you would know that Seth Rollins doesn't like this guy and has said similar comments about CM Punk in the past. That's fine.
Yeah, which
That's
is funny because CM Punk helped train Seth Rollins.
Oh
Fun
yeah.
fact for
Oh,
those who've never seen CM Punk's bio that WWE did long ago, which is one I've watched many a time from back in the day. Couldn't tell you last time I watched it, but I do remember that. So I do find it interesting because they used to be friendly and enough, but things change when a man leaves a company, and things change when he burns every bridge possible in his new company. I mean, thanks for the fun quote, Seth Rollins. I appreciate it. Got everyone got a little excited.
Thinking about things changing, Monday Night Raw had its quote unquote 30th anniversary this past Monday,
Is that
and
what XXX means?
yeah, that's what it means.
Okay.
Don't look
Okay.
that up. Don't Google what it means. Just take my word for it. That XXX means 30th. So they had the 30th anniversary this past Monday, and they had a lot of ire from the internet fan base regarding the scheduled women's match on the show, which was Becky Lynch versus Bayley in a steel cage match. The match did not happen. They apparently ran out of time in 2 segments. The opening segment, or the Bloodline segment, and then I think it was the DX one, I want to say that the other one was.
Sounds right.
And so they ran long, and they had to cut an entire match. Oh, and it just happened to be the women's. And just did a little angle for a steel cage match instead. It met with a lot of ire, specifically for the Bella twins, who have been on while doing a media tour for Nikki Bella's
Well,
new
they have
show.
a TV show coming out,
Yeah,
so
while they're in the
probably
middle of
helps.
the media tour, they are get upset regarding this whole thing. They're very critical about it. They even go on a talk show. Who, by the way, they go on to the Tamron Hall,
The Mandy Rose talk show.
Yes, they went on the Tamron Hall talk show. She was the talk show host that previously had Mandy Rose on regarding her getting fired from WWE. So my immediate question is, who is Tamron Hall, and how does she? How and why does she keep getting these WB like criticism within the company bits? Like, if I'm not mistaken, I think her show is on ABC, which is owned by Disney. So it's like, oh man, there's a TV show owned by Disney that has brought on two guests that have not really aired grievances with the company because Mandy Rose was very thankful for her time. But Nikki Bella and Brie Bella, I mean, they weren't necessarily overtly aggressive, but they were like pretty much saying, hey, throughout 30 years, women have done a lot to make Raw what it is. This is a quote from Nikki Bella. So when you have a 3-hour show and it's male dominated and women aren't being honored pretty much at all, you just sit back and you're like, why aren't we being appreciated? Like, why don't you even have a video package showcasing what all these incredible women have done? So pretty much just saying like, what the fuck? Like, the whole point of this thing is to honor the 30 years. Why are we only honoring the men? Why are we not honoring any of the women? Uh, it obviously met with a bunch of other ire, but thoughts on 30th anniversary of Raw? Thoughts on the women's segments and how I think now that Stephanie McMahon is maybe that's what it is, Scotty. Now that Stephanie McMahon is fully out of the company, maybe the women's revolution is over. We're forgetting about women. We're pushing them to the side. Maybe that's what it's all about.
Yes, it's because Stephanie McMahon's gone, not anyone else. But since you asked, the Tamron Hall show, and I quote from Wikipedia, is from the deeply or no, this isn't Wikipedia. I have no idea what this is from. This is from Google, okay? Uh from the deeply moving to the purely fun, the show is a daily destination for all things topical and a platform for viewers to connect with the people who are shaping the world through meaningful, engaging, and entertaining conversation. That's what I think of when I think of Mandy Rose, shaping the world through meaningful and engaging. Anyways, what do I think? I mean, this is, and we'll talk about this in the Women's Rumble, but this is kind of like the crazy thing about what I've noticed with Triple H's women's division rollout more than anything, and it's that despite being the guy that brought a lot of these talented wrestlers to this company and to the forefront, say a Rhea Ripley, for example, just off the top of my head, uh, or brought back the likes of Mia Yim and Candice LeRae and Tegan Knox, and you get the point. None of these people have been made to matter since. I'll give Rhea Ripley's the exception out of that. And the problem is because he just never probably cared all that much. At the end of the day, sadly, there's still long ways to go when it comes to women's wrestling here in the US, and you and me have talked about that time and time again. I mean, we've been on the show multiple times talking about AEW and their longtime problems with it, and now we are at a point where it is in reverse. AEW has put together a division that is worth talking about in a positive light, while, and we'll talk about this with the Women's Royal Rumble, there are such a limited number of stars because of their own booking, not because Mercedes Monet left, but because they focus on 3 or 4. And this has always been the case. It was always the 4 horsewomen, and Bianca was able to get in there. We've seen Alexa Bliss get in there before. That was the Vince McMahon mindset. And now
Rhea Ripley's obviously getting in there now.
now, right? But we'll get to that later. But it's that they pick a handful to continuously focus on, and it's who they think matters most. And otherwise, you are just kind of there. And they'll plug you in once in a while if they need something different, or if the money in the bank's here and they need someone to win. Otherwise, It's a 4-person, 5-person top, and then everyone else is, like I said, just there. And that's the case. You and me have talked about the SmackDown Women's Division multiple times on this
Yeah.
show, on accident, maybe. It's not a real division, and the likes of, and I realized this yesterday. There, you had the 2018-19 NXT Women's Division that was like red hot and really carrying that brand around that time, and you you sat there, and I don't think any of them except for Rhea Ripley got cheers,
Yeah.
which is just an accomplishment on how badly booked most of them are. And now a lot of them got released and came back, but you get my point.
Yeah, no, we'll obviously get talked to about it more with the women's Royal Rumble, but yeah, no, it's frustrating because then it's like you
The
get
Bellows are right, by the way. I
the,
wanted to point that out.
completely right, completely fair. At the very like, it's like all they're saying is like at the very least, can we have a video package that showcases the greatness in women? And
Yeah,
see, and same point. I've done reports on the show of like how in terms of AEW, like how it's sort of like presented versus other things. It's like, oh, it's and how it like sort of is received. It's like, oh, it's on
yeah,
base of like the tag team division. We get just like a video package of like the best of women, the best tag teams or whatever. It's like, no, it's basically just like the male stars that get presented. It's not really tag teams, it's not really women, it's just the male stars that are presented. And it's just in
yeah,
terms of also that presentation, it's just who are they okay with, who has legends contracts with them, who has a biopic set to, or not a biopic, a documentary coming out on Peacock to right the quote unquote wrongs of the that other what was the other plane flight from hell doc. um yeah, no, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. It's also frustrating to hear people being like, "Oh yeah, the AEW women's division was so bad. They don't give time to any of the women's wrestlers. There's no minor I saw someone in the wrestling media this week. They do. People have been doing those like anonymous Q&A question answer stuff. I saw
yeah,
someone in the wrestling media this week that said it was like this week, like Thursday or Friday, after Dynamite, said asked the question of what can help the AEW. Someone asked the question of what can help the AEW women's division get better, and their response, which I think the question is flawed because I think it's inaccurate. I think it is better. Because the answer to the question that the wrestling media personality presented was more storylines that don't involve titles. And I saw
yeah.
that, and
It takes one.
yeah, and you know what's happening right now on Dynamite? They're making a storyline of homegrown talent versus WWE people coming in. They're literally doing that, and I thought to myself, I was like, they're doing it right now, and it already. And people are saying that like it feels like this could be the blood and guts match.
Fucking
It's like
games.
blood and games. This people are already saying like it has the potential to be that that far-reaching in the division. It's like they're already starting, and they also did one with Soraya coming in with against Britt Baker. They are doing them. Why are people still having this idea that it's not working? Whereas WWE has one women's match a show on their main roster, and they are like sub 10 minutes or get completely cut. Raw completely cut, just did an angle. Most of the time that they spent to the match, if they just dropped the steel cage gimmick, right, it would have saved time on the match because it took time for the steel cage to come to the ring. If you just had them do the entrances and stuff, and then that's it, or you start in the back, hey, guess what? You can
Yeah,
get like a 5 minute match out of it, 6 minute match. That's better than nothing. On the pay per view, we'll talk about it. Pay per view, one women's title match, 7 minutes long. What are
to
we
be
doing?
fair,
The Bray
that's
Wyatt
what
Pitch
this is
Black match,
bad.
it was, but the Pitch Black match segment was 5 minutes. The match itself was 5 minutes, but the entire segment was probably longer than Belair and Bliss.
Yeah. Um. Well, so what's interesting is that the other day, I don't know why I was on WWE.com looking at the roster. Couldn't remember why. But what I can tell you is that the Bellas, who went in to the WWE Hall of Fame last year,
Yeah.
are not listed under the Hall of Fame section, but instead alumni.
Interesting.
While The Undertaker, who also went into the Hall of Fame this past year, is 100% under the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So again, it's little things even, not to be that guy that goes wicked deep into the weeds here and be like, well, this is a sign of respect just being on the roster page, but it is little things like that. They care about one thing and not the other. I mean, WWE has well, here's I could tell you the problem with the women's division very quickly. They still think Ronda Rousey has star power. Ronda Rousey couldn't have less star Ronda Rousey has less star power than Becky Lynch
Yeah.
these days.
Yeah. 100%. She
That
does
is
not
an
even have the
accomplishment.
most. She doesn't have the most star power at all. I would say there's like 4 or 5 people ahead of her.
Exactly. No one is tuning in to see Ronda Rousey anymore.
She wasn't even on the
That
show.
that ended when she left last time, the first time. All star power has since gone away because she went home to be a mother, which is great, good for her.
Yep.
That's not a shot at her, but all of her star power is gone, and they still think she has some. She doesn't,
Yeah.
and she hasn't
And they're
for a
not
long
giving
time.
her anymore because they don't know how. They don't
No,
know how to
because
give her
this
anymore.
and here's the thing, they have a roster of talent. I sat there last night watching this, and I said, "Oh, I forgot you were here. Oh, I forgot you were here." Like seeing like the likes of like a Candice LeRae and just sitting there and thinking, I was like, "Man, if she wasn't here, she'd be in AEW and she'd be better off." That can't be said for everyone, obviously. Like Mia Yim, she didn't get signed by AEW. I don't know if she ever was going to get signed by AEW.
Mhm.
If they wanted her right off the bat, they could have probably had her, but she went to Impact and so on. I thought she did good in Impact. Um, but now she's here and she's just no one. She's just no one. Someone that went to the Prestige show when she faced Maki Ito, that I talked to, he said that he remembers how loud the chants were for HBIC, and you probably had that many people in a room of 50,000 cheering that, which is not good when you go
Yeah.
when in comparability. But my point is, and I think everyone agrees with this, and this has become the problem, especially this past week with Becky and Bailey and the Brie and Nikki getting angry, and Alundra Blaze was the only legend on that show, mostly because the Bellas decided they didn't want to show up,
Mhm.
which good for them. Is that this has always just been the case, and it's going to be the case now. If people complain enough and you get loud on social media enough, then hey, maybe they'll do their seventh women's revolution. And they'll say it was Stephanie's. It won't this time. It won't be Stephanie's solution though, because she's not there anymore. So this time maybe it can be. I don't even have a fake answer. I don't. It's a shame because Becky and Bailey, that was an actual match that people were looking forward to. They
Yeah.
got rid of it. Um, I'm happy they didn't just toss it on like the pay-per-view or something because it still wouldn't have got a lot of time. Uh, but again, even if those two can't even get the time, then who's going to get the time in this division? No one. Maybe Charlotte Flair.
Maybe. And even then, didn't have a match on this show on
Nope.
the Royal Rumble. I also, by the way, just real quickly, love that all the Legends Night stuff has them playing poker in the back room.
Yeah,
Do you think like in 20, 30 years from now, when it's like the current roster is playing backstage, do you think they're playing video games and not poker?
absolutely. I think Xavier Woods is leading that instead of the APA. And
It's just New Day instead of
yeah,
APA.
yeah, absolutely.
That's very funny.
At least they'll be more entertaining than the APA 50 years after they were relevant.
That'd be very funny.
I do like Ron Simmons.
Damn. The other news bit was this week we got the announcement that the AEW was allowed by Warner Brothers Discovery to celebrate the life of Jay Briscoe actually on the show, and they did so by having a fantastic video package. Definitely zipped me open, and had Mark Briscoe in the main event against Jay Lethal, a longtime rival and friend of Jay Briscoe. in what was a great tribute, great match, great remembrance of Jay. And just phenomenal to see Mark just like seemingly okay about everything. I'm sure he's in pain, but it's also like he understands he's fine. He'll be fine. I'll see him later, and then I'll see him down the road. He's just okay. He's very zen about the whole thing. It's just a phenomenal way to see it all. So I'm very glad that they were able to have Mark Briscoe on. He had a great match. I would love to see more of him. I hope they do more with him. I don't see why you wouldn't do more with him. I mean, this guy should obviously challenge for some sort of title at Supercard of Honor. If he's not defending the tag titles, I don't know how even that's going to work. But I guess we'll find out. But what do you think about the Briscoes finally appearing on television and Mark Briscoe in the main event of Dynamite?
Goes without saying, far too late. Um, far too late. Even a week ago makes it far too late. Uh, but Mark Briscoe is an incredible talent for a number of reasons. His energy and mindset and state for this match changed how I could watch it because it brought me from, pretty upset and be like, all right, here we go, right? To the moment he walks out and he's Mark Briscoe. And it's like, oh, all right. And that's kind of what you saw with Jay Lethal in the match. Is that Jay Lethal was in tears, through his entrance and to begin the match, and then Mark Briscoe started chopping him, and it was like, oh, all right. So this is what we're doing. And it's like it just changed the mood in the best way possible. So the appreciation I have for what Mark Briscoe did on Wednesday goes leaps and bounds. And not only do I think it's one of my most favorite Dynamite matches ever, AEW matches ever, whatever. And there's a motion side of that, but listen, that's how wrestling works. There has to be a motion side, and that makes it better. But it was the perfect way to introduce more people to what the Briscoe style was. Um, it's easily the best match of Jay Lethal's AEW career for my and best match I've seen Jay Lethal have in a very long time. Not that that was the main point of the match itself, but they couldn't have had a better tribute
Yeah.
to Jay Briscoe with this. They couldn't have had a better spot, main event, obviously. And now the road to Mark Briscoe probably winning the Ring of Honor World title will be an interesting one. And it'll be one that Ring of Honor brand can play off of for the next year, 2 years, 3, whatever it may be. I think, and I said this, I don't know, I just said this to someone. I think it's okay if he never gets the All Elite graphic because he is Ring of Honor. He can work on AEW anytime they want him to. That's fine. But there's something about him always just being a Ring of Honor wrestler that I like. I think that's just fits the Briscoes mold, and it forever will be like, yeah, you didn't want us on your TV, so we're not going to be part of your show in terms of we're not going to be signed to All Elite Wrestling, but we are going to be here each and every week, or whatever weeks they want. I'm just happy it's happening. I'm happy that I know we'll have more Mark Briscoe in the future, whether it be Ring of Honor or AEW.
Mm-hmm.
And just a great job all around. That's the first of many tributes that Jay Briscoe will be receiving in terms of shows. I'm sure Super Card of Honor will be the real true big live one. But I'm happy we got this live match.
Yeah, and the Life of Celebration, the 3-hour video on YouTube and an hour and Honor Plus was a great watch. A lot of fun matches in there. A lot of great commentary from Ian Riccoboni and Caprice Coleman, and they even put in old footage now that they have it of Jay Briscoe wrestling a couple matches, and all those matches were really great. We got one against Adam Cole, one against Kings of Wrestling, one against Christopher Daniels. That was pretty good. Yeah, no, it's just like this guy is just, I'm glad that we're able to do all this stuff, and I'm glad that you're able to put out some old matches so that, not just as a use it away, use it as a way to plug getting Honor Club for some people and be like, oh, I can watch more of these on Honor Club, but also, celebrating the life of Jay Briscoe. So I think, well done. I'm glad Warner Brothers finally changed their tune. Little too late though, but I'll accept it now. I just don't want them to change back. Let's just
Yeah,
keep it
I'm
going.
not giving Warner Media any credit here.
No, 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 no. They still have Power Slap, and Power Slap still.
They still didn't want Mark Briscoe on last week either. So
Did you see that Power Slap went up in ratings
yeah,
in week two?
I'm not talking about that stupid show.
I know. I just hate it. All right, let's talk about the Royal Rumble. Let's talk about the Royal Rumble. Let's start with, of course, the classic. This is the Royal Rumble in San Antonio, Texas, the Alamodrome.
Yeah, which way we start? We usually start at like the main event, but they kind of just did it the opposite way that you'd
let's start
usually
with
have
the
Royal Rumbles.
let's start with the men's Royal Rumble. Since
All
we got a
right.
little bit of betting in there as well.
Yeah,
Well, no, we're not going to start with the pitch black match. We're going to start with the men's Royal Rumble.
I'm gonna give everyone my chronicles of my pitch black.
We'll get
road.
there. We'll get there. So the men's Royal Rumble, we got to start off here, Scotty.
Yeah,
Number one and number two, men's Royal Rumble. Number one, Gunther. Number two, Sheamus. Scotty, I will ask you right now to remind our audience, when we did our betting last week of who you thought was first and second, obviously the answer was Gunther and Sheamus, but who did you put as first and second?
I put Sheamus as first and Gunther as second. And this is why I remember when I used to do this, I always wouldn't say who's first and first. I would just do who's first two.
Yeah.
And I'd pick the two rather than first and second, but to make it more difficult on us, I did it the other way around. So I just want to say I'm nasty at this. The fact that I nailed that, I know I got it in the wrong order, which once Gunther walked out there, I was like, okay, it makes sense why he would come out first. I just want to say I am fantastic at this because the fact that I was like, yeah, we're gonna start with big meaty men slapping meats, and they were like, yeah, bet. I thought it was very funny.
That was like throwing a perfect dart at the exact spot on a dartboard and then hitting the metal part, like hitting not the actual foam but like the metal or whatever.
Yeah,
at the last second.
It just falls. Yeah,
it's like, oh, this is perfect. This is for the win. Clink, just missed it.
Hey, if I was gonna be wrong on anything, I'm happy I was also right.
Yeah, in a way you're right, in a way you're wrong. So there's okay. That. But yeah,
if it cost me, there would be a problem.
That's true. The Royal Rumble, of course, won by none other than Cody Rhodes. But we'll just go through it, I guess. Do you want to just how should we do this? Should we just go through the entrance, and if we have any small little bits about any of these people, we can talk about them, or do we just want to Okay, so we got Gunther and Sheamus starting off. I was going to say that I wish they gave these guys a little bit more time or something, or had them do.
That's not how the Royal Rumble works.
I know, but I mean in terms of like they went like almost immediately to trying to eliminate each other. I wish they did not do that and just had them actually like cook for a little bit longer.
Sure. Yeah, let them cook.
Yeah,
no, I get that. I guess. With them, it does feel like the ultimate goal is for these two to face off at Mania in the end and have Sheamus finally beat him, which obviously feels like a layup that you should have done, especially after the energy these two had to start off the show, or start off the match, show, whatever, and how into it the crowd still is. Like, I feel like with a feud like this where the heel wins every single match, you would think that they would lose that energy, but it hasn't.
Yeah.
And I think that's a credit to these two more than anything. I do agree that I wish they obviously got to wrestle longer just because that's my preference with these two. But I mean, they got to beat up the Miz, so
there's always that. Miz comes out number 3. I don't remember anything he does. He just doesn't come out immediately.
He got chopped once.
He got chopped once. He just got beaten up
There
a
was
little
a
bit.
there was a thing going on Twitter this week about people like talking about if Miz was like bad or something, and I saw multiple people saying things. It's like, listen, people, it, it's very simple.
Yeah.
His best match in years came against Logan Paul, and then someone, I don't know who it was, commented to say, "Are you forgetting his match with John Cena at WrestleMania?" I go, "What? What does that mean?" I was like, one, that's not in recent years. Two, what?
Look, I Rowan is not a bad wrestler, but he did have a But no, it's like saying Rowan. Stay with me here. It's like saying Rowan is a great wrestler because he had a match with The Rock at WrestleMania. It's like, yeah, of course, because he's facing one of the best people.
At least I didn't get a comment that said, "Well, he's married to Maurice," and I was like, "Okay, that's not
That's
what I
that's
said." But
that's his actual win. That's the actual
yeah,
win.
like good, great for him. But this was again not the conversation we're having about the Miz. I didn't say he's lost at life. I
Yeah.
didn't say his life is bad. I said he's a bad pro wrestler inside the ring. Is that okay? God,
That was also years ago. That was like a decade ago at this point. Like the
it was
guys,
WrestleMania. It was WrestleMania 27. So yeah, it's over a decade
yeah, it's
ago.
like that doesn't get anymore.
But that was recent years, I guess, to whoever said, "Well, do you forget this match?" And I was like,
No,
"What?
doesn't
What?"
count
And
anymore.
someone was like, "It was only the only bad part was when Cena got knocked out." I was like,
Miz got
"What?"
knocked out.
Or whoever got knocked out.
Yeah.
I don't care. And I was like, "No, I don't." It's like the most forgettable WrestleMania main event I could ever imagine, except for like I don't know, maybe Bam Bam Bigelow and Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah. Kofi Kingston came out at number 4. He lasted for 14 minutes until he was eliminated by Gunther on a botch elimination. The guy was supposed to land in the chair, missed it, whiffed it completely. Looks like he bonked the
Looked
head on the
bad.
yeah. Looks like he hit his head bad on the corner of the announce table as well, coming down, and botched his elimination. That's 2 years
He
in a
did say it was
row.
okay.
2 years in a row that
Well,
Kofi was unable to do his Kofi Kingston Rumble spot.
he's trying
Uh,
to use difficult objects. Maybe it's time to
he's done the chair one before, I swear.
he did a chair one for sure.
Yeah.
I think he jumped. I think he used the chair to like jump back into the ring. I don't know if he landed on the chair.
Might have
Either way,
might have landed on the announce table or something.
asking for a lot, obviously, that you're gonna land on that chair perfectly. There was like minutes before where I watched Pat McAfee nearly fall out of it dancing.
Mhm.
So asking for you to like launch yourself, land on it, somehow stay in, it was never gonna happen. I hope he's okay. He did tweet after, so it's not like he, is
Yeah.
but that was ugly fall and tough for him, losing it 2 years in a row after being the highlight or one of the highlights for the Rumble for a few years there.
Yeah, they started to do a thing where they started calling him Mr. Royal Rumble, and 2 years in a row he's botched his Rumble spot. I was like, I don't think we can call him. I don't know if the nickname will stick.
They're gonna start having someone new do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm surprised I haven't yet. I'm surprised, like, I don't know. You can probably get someone else to do that. Johnny Gargano was next up, and I really want to talk about Johnny Gargano because this is one of the reasons that made me so frustrated about this goddamn
Because
shit.
this new song stinks. I couldn't agree more, man. Like I heard this song and I was like, "What is happening? What is this?" And then I know this isn't where you're actually gonna go, but I have to talk about it because I have no other reason to. Um, why change the theme song? It's terrible. It's awful.
He comes out to a terrible theme song, but that's not even my part. He comes out. You know how everyone in the Royal Rumble typically comes out and then gets like a cool shine spot to showcase the moves and stuff?
Yeah, he ain't going.
Yeah, he comes out, does a quick little spear, attacks the Miz, and then gets him in position for Sheamus's drum fist
Yeah,
thing. Sheamus then takes it over, and Gargano's like, "Oh yeah, sure, you can have this spot." Sheamus does it, gets the crowd super into it, does the beat down, while Gargano is just standing there,
yeah,
not doing anything, just
yeah.
standing there, not getting attacked or anything, not moving on, just standing there. Then when Sheamus is done, Gargano super kicks the Miz, who by the way, he's feuding with. He's in a
Yeah.
rivalry against the Miz. Super
Oh
kicks
yeah.
the Miz, whoa, and then Sheamus runs out, does a brogue kick, eliminates the Miz,
Oh yeah.
eliminates Gargano couldn't even eliminate his rival from the Royal Rumble, lost a
Yeah.
shine spot. Didn't even eliminate his Rumble, his rival, and lasted for I don't
30
know
minutes, I think.
30 minutes and did utterly nothing in this entire program. And this guy is a mid carder, lower mid carder for life.
So I learned that he's been injured this whole time,
Yeah,
and this
apparently
was
he came
actually
back.
his return.
Yes, apparently.
Either way, he's a nerd, so it doesn't matter.
Terrible
Very
return. If this is his return, horrendous return.
horrendous return because once upon a time, not only would he have gotten a pop, if he showed up in the Royal Rumble, but he's just he's just there. He is a mid carder, definitely not upper. He's mid to lower, like you said.
He is a U.S. title challenger.
This is gonna sound, and I respect for what he did. He took time away to spend time with his, spend time with his kid, but that absolutely, I think, is what destroyed all of his. Um, Now, it also destroyed any interest people have in him was that he spent his entire career in NXT.
Yeah.
But
He was in NXT way too long, never got to the main roster, and when it was time for him to go up to the main roster, he got cut. And so he's just like,
yeah,
I'll just stay, hang out with my kid, which is a good
well, he
thing.
didn't get
but
released. He didn't get
I
released.
thought he
His
got
contract
released.
expired.
Oh,
No,
that's
his
what it
contract
was.
expired. And then people thought he might go elsewhere, and I was like, okay. And he ultimately didn't. And I remember because they showed the Johnny Elite thing, and you and me thought it was Johnny Gargano, but it
Yes.
was actually Johnny Mundo, and I still have that in my head. Either way, yeah, Johnny Gargano is a nothing character for this company.
Moving on. Xavier Woods did some stuff. He grappled with
Yeah, we don't have to talk about his favorite words. He didn't do anything.
yeah, he grappled with somebody at some point. Karrion
Chad
Cross came
Gable.
out.
Yeah.
Karrion
Cross is a geek, and I love it. Second guy eliminated, absolute loser. We love to see it. He stinks. He stinks.
Chad Gable comes out next. He's been still doing the shoosh gimmick. He's been doing this gimmick for what, 2 years now? I cannot believe this gimmick is still lasting as long.
My sister walked by and says, his name now Shoosh?
Yeah.
Because it was Shorty G, let's not forget. So let's not get crazy and think Shoosh would be a crazy name for Chad Gable to get.
I would have thought that Shoosh gimmick would have ended by now, and he just goes on and does a different thing with the Alpha Academy. But no, he's still doing Shoosh.
He's so good too, like, stupid.
He would have, if he went to AEW, and I know this is the Freakazoid coming out.
Freakazoid coming out.
He would have a fantastic TNT title match with Darby Allin.
Oh, he sure would.
He would have a great match against Takeshita. Great match against Bandito. He would get slotted for me in that slot of Bandito, Takeshita, Darby, like that group of people that like, oh, these guys are gonna be have underrated bangers.
He'd probably be, the thing with him is he'd probably be mostly like on Rampage. Which is whatever, but he'd have great matches, and I think that's worth it at this point.
Yeah. Drew McIntyre comes out at number 9. Stays
Did
in.
Not come out at 30, so tough for me there.
Tough nubbins.
Lost a point there.
Did not. He was in there for 40 minutes. Eliminated 4 guys, but then ultimately got eliminated by Gunther.
Pretty forgettable Rumble.
Pretty forgettable Rumble for McIntyre here.
Santos Escobar. It was mostly him and Sheamus being buddy.
Well, bros. Or being bros.
Not banger bros though.
Which Pat McAfee, that's apparently the only thing
no one gave him the idea.
The only thing he remembered from doing college football for so long and coming back was that, oh yeah, these guys are called the Banger Bros. That's the only thing that stayed in his brain.
Nope. And then they were like, nope, it's not that, because obviously this week they realized that they couldn't use that. And Pat McAfee just continuously kept saying.
Yeah, just couldn't stop saying it. Santos Escobar, number 10. He's in there for 5 minutes and then got eliminated by Brock. He botched a spot also in the middle of the match or whatever. It was.
Yeah. He's bigger than I thought he was. That's about my only takeaway.
Angelo Dawkins at 11 comes in, pretty much gets eliminated.
Yeah, he was there to get eliminated. We went on like this nice like little trend of okay, who's getting eliminated by Brock? Here we
Mhm.
go.
Yeah, Pat McAfee noted this. He's like, the Rumble's getting a little full. And then next
Yeah,
up, Brock Lesnar. Coming at number 12, eliminates a bunch of people, but only in the match for 3 minutes because he then gets eliminated by number 13, Bobby Lashley.
that's a hell of a payday.
Yeah, hell of a payday for this guy. But it looks like we are, they're already teasing it. And so, I'll see you at the Rumble and stuff. But it looks like officially we're probably going to get a WrestleMania match between these two.
I'll be that guy. Anytime Brock Lesnar does something like this, it's more entertaining.
Yeah.
It was one of the most entertaining parts of the show. The energy was high as he threw people around the ring and eliminated 3 guys, and then people exploded when Bobby Lashley eliminated him
Yeah.
clean
Yeah.
in the middle. And that's why Brock Lesnar is in these things. This is what he's here for. So to me, perfectly fine. He didn't eliminate anyone important. He just eliminated a couple guys, a couple jabrones, and it worked. Oh, and we got him and Gunther
Yes.
staring off, which is pretty sweet. I got very excited for that. Um, I'll talk about more about Gunther and his whole delivery at the end.
Yeah.
But the fact that they gave him that spot, it was very cool.
Yeah. A nice little Keith Lee spot. For
Well, he got a lot more than Keith Lee did.
That's true. That might be true.
He did get the face to face though, but he was already in the ring and sweating.
Oh yeah.
By the way, Brock in 3 minutes did so much. This guy, I thought this guy was gonna explode. I was like, Jesus Christ, Brock.
He's
I
working
don't
hard.
know. I know you had like those stomach problems a decade ago, but I don't understand how you just become like redder than a goddamn stop sign in 5 seconds.
He's redder than the wall behind you.
And he's so sweat. Whatever. I'm not doing this. Yeah, he's ready to wall behind. He's so sweaty.
He's so sweaty. Bobby Lashley came out, like you said, eliminated Brock Lesnar.
That's all he did.
Huge pop for the guy.
Yeah, one of the biggest pops of the night. I think there were 3 or 4 pops I vividly remember, and that was one of the bigger ones.
Yeah, that was a good use of eliminating Brock. It was a really good use of eliminating him.
And it was just Bobby, who's obviously already over, but I think personally for me, I've never seen Bobby be treated fully to the Brock Lesnar level, so I think that's why it worked so well.
I agree. Next up was Baron Corbin. He just gets beaten up by Brock Lesnar. Eventually, he gets thrown into the ring by Seth Rollins and gets eliminated.
Oh yeah, he was literally there for Brock to get angry at and beat up.
Yeah. Seth Rollins comes in. He stays in for 37 minutes. Any fun spots about Seth Rollins you remember?
We'll
talk about the Final Four sequence, I guess.
Yeah, so I won't talk about that. His entrance, like how over he is, I think that's always interesting with Seth Rollins. It's like all these years later, all these many, many times that he's pissed people off, all these many, many things that he's done. And at one point, up until this point, he was one of the most over people of the night. I mean, that dramatically changed by the end of the show, but he was one of the most over people up until this point. In terms of just entrances, I think it would be like him and Brock.
Yeah. I agree to that.
That's what I remember.
Otis comes out next. This is the point I realized how I hate not only the shoosh please. Shoosh please. I hate it. But it's also like, do we have to give every single... I know, like, I don't know, like, the music is so bad. The entrance, like, video package or whatever is so bad. It's just like, here's a stinger that plays at the beginning of someone's thing so you know who it is, because the music is so boring and complete and, nothing, that it's unrecognizable. So we have to put something at the beginning. And also because of that, the entrance Titantron video is just going to be some random ass background and then text of the person's name. That's all it's going to be. Hate it.
Yeah.
That's all I remember from Otis's entrance.
Part of the problem with all these, and this is why I think a lot of wrestlers aren't over for the Royal Rumble, besides, not getting pushed, is that they don't have entrance music that get people amped or that people know, especially for those tuning in for the first time in a long time. And that happened to me multiple times when I watched this show. I was like,
Who's this?
I have gotten to the point where I don't know the theme song, which that was never the case. And I think that's not even like, if you watch Raw and SmackDown every week, I'm pretty sure you won't know half of these theme songs.
Yeah.
Especially for the women's match.
Yeah.
Like, the only person I knew that had one was Tegan Knox, and that's because she has the same theme song from when she was in NXT 3 years ago after the 10th knee surgery.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Rey Mysterio comes out next, or rather, he doesn't come out at all. I don't know if it happened in the early Rumbles, but I know recently it was like they decided that if someone doesn't make it to the ring by time the next person comes out, they can't enter.
Yeah,
they're like eliminated. I hate that rule exists because I think the rule is dumb.
Brock Lesnar should beat up everyone backstage.
Exactly. Because it is like why not these people beat up each other backstage, and why isn't it chaos backstage before you get into the Rumble? Because if you beat up everyone and then if Bobby Lashley's standing next to Brock backstage, he should just beat up Brock and then not have Brock enter the Rumble, and then Bobby Lashley comes out. If that's everything. So Rey Mysterio doesn't come out. Dominic Mysterio, he does take that advice that we gave him. Seemingly he was the one that attacked Rey Mysterio. No one the hell knows. He comes out.
His mask.
Comes out very. He's got a lot. I'll say this. Haven't seen Dominic Mysterio in a while. A lot more confidence, I would say.
Yeah. So that's the funny thing that I don't think Dominic's very good at wrestling. No. I don't think he's good.
I think he's better at ripping a mask than he is at wrestling, and he couldn't rip the mask.
Yeah, he was really bad at ripping the mask. But he has more character and confidence to him than I thought this guy would ever have. He really is the definition of a guy that should be wearing a mask, but he's also so bad that he shouldn't be wearing a mask. He should just not be a professional wrestler. So, but he gets heat. Yeah. He gets heat, Ryan, and that's what matters.
Yeah,
I'm told. Apparently. I'm told having go away heat is good heat.
Well, what I'm told is that his storyline is actually really good, and that's what matters. His story is the stories and how they're told.
That he is a former, I'm done talking about Dominic Mysterio. The reason Rey Mysterio is still in this company is because of Dominic Mysterio.
Exactly.
That is it.
Elias makes his return, I believe. Nope. This is his return. Was it?
Nope, it wasn't.
No, all right. He returned in October.
Yeah.
Was he injured or something?
And that was Elias. What?
Was he injured or something?
No, he had to grow his beard back because he was killed.
Oh, yeah. So dumb. So dumb. But he comes back. I thought he did fine. He broke a guitar over someone's back and then promptly got eliminated. Finn Balor comes in.
Finn Balor's hot.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
That was my biggest takeaway. He also looked like he was an astronaut.
Jesse doesn't agree with me. Jesse doesn't agree with me that Finn Balor's hot. It's so frustrating.
Well, she's wrong.
I know. Who is she? What kind of type is she into? That would be
fun fact. My friend, he judges wrestling matches at first off of just looks, and he always says Finn wins no matter what.
Yeah.
And I was like, when the match was over, I was like, who won? He's like, Finn. I was like, so none of the 29 men even came close. He's like, no, not a shot. I was like, all right. He is straight, by the way. Has had a girlfriend for 4 or 5 years. I just want to point out that Finn Balor is that guy. No. So Jesse's wrong.
I agree.
You know what's funny with Finn Balor? So this is gonna sound crazy, but I heard his theme song and I was like, oh, I kind of like this because it was just like a twisted, slower version of his old one.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I got so sick of. So I was like, oh, I kind of like this theme song. Not that it matters, and not that Finn Balor matters, but I just want to point that out. I liked his theme song.
Next up, number 21, Booker T comes out. I just thought it was very fun I think it was Corey Graves or Pat McAfee commenting about how great shape he looked, how spry he looked. Booker T, that was the slowest, worst walk I've ever seen from somebody. He looked like Muto. This guy used to like have get up and go energy in his step and everything. This guy like hobbled to the ring, could barely do his moves, and it was so frustrating. I was like, this guy is not spry at all. It looks like he can barely move. I don't know what we're
Almost.
talking about.
So they're two like surprises that are nostalgia surprises. Were just the, oh, you guys are here tonight. Hey, can you guys just go into the ring,
Yeah.
please? We need we need someone to fill in. That's what Booker T was. Good for him, I guess, for wearing gear. I think he actually wrestled last year for Reality Wrestling.
Yes. He's
Um,
wrestled a couple times, I think, for reality wrestling. Let me double check.
but he looked great. He didn't look great. He did the spinneroonie though, so he did his job.
And then promptly got eliminated by Gunther. Next up was Damian Priest. Damian Priest was pretty much just a part of the whole, gimmick there of, you were basically Damian Priest and Finn Balor have just become second and third to Dominic. So that's what is also baffling to the whole existence.
Tough, very tough. I'm happy that Punishment Martinez ultimately made it to the spot I expected him to, which was mid Carter at best.
Yeah. Booker T did wrestle last year in the Alley of Wrestling, and then 2 years ago during the pandemic as GI Bro. 23 Montez Ford. It was in there for 44 seconds and then got eliminated. Remember when people wanted him as a single star in a world title push?
I can tell you that I still would have loved that, but it's not happening.
On the cards, turns out.
He bulked up though.
He's bulked up. Now. He's been bulking. Edge comes out at number 24.
He got a pop. Because anytime
nice pop.
Happens, he gets a pop. He was in there for about 3 minutes.
No, he was in there for 1 minute and 4 seconds.
Nice, hell of a run in there. Again, nice payday for him. His hair looks weird.
Yeah, looked a little weird. It was like a weird swoop in the back of his hair.
Yeah, it was weird. Him and Seth Rollins had a little stare down. I was like, hey, you guys had that good Hell in a Cell match that one time in the Kingdom of Saudi. Congratulations.
Mm-hmm. Right, future company owners.
Oh, and Beth Phoenix showed up because Edge got eliminated. Right? And then they wrestled on the outside, him and Finn Balor and Damian Priest, and they wrestled and they fought up the ramp and they fought more up the ramp. And they fought more up the ramp, and then Rhea Ripley showed up.
Yeah,
and then Beth Phoenix just happened to be there.
How many times is Beth Phoenix gonna show up and save Edge until we have a goddamn match?
Elimination Chambers in Canada, so you're gonna get it. I will say that Beth Phoenix is absolutely yoked out of her mind.
She's always been yoked.
Training. Always been yoked, but she was extra yoked.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, so her match is next month. Got it. Yeah, that happened. I hope I reviewed that for everyone. They fought, and then they fought, and then they fought, and then Beth Phoenix showed up.
They ran. Don't forget ran.
Yeah, they ran. Edge did run a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Rhea Ripley was there. She's like the only, I've said this for months now, it's like she's the only part of Judgment Day that has ever actually worked. I don't care. You can't tell me Dominic Mysterio works when he can't actually wrestle. So
I agree. There you go. Austin Theory makes his next entrance at number 25. Got some stuff in.
He was not Final Four? He was, and then he wasn't.
No, he was. He got eliminated.
He ended up being
26.
Final 5.
Yes, I think he was number 5, 5th from elimination. He was number 26.
Yeah, originally it was Final 4, and then a certain someone came into the ring. And I was like, yeah!
Omos came out next. He did some stuff. Then Braun came out, eliminated Omos.
You know what the problem was? I predicted multiple entrants in a row in this Royal Rumble. Because I said, because once Omos came out, Braun's next, great. When Edge came out, I was like, oh, so Edge is next, and I was right with that. There was multiple times where I predicted who was next, and I should not be able to do that.
You shouldn't be able to predict a Royal Rumble. It was very, as people have said, I felt that this very Rumble. I felt that this Royal Rumble was very by the numbers, paint by numbers, very standard, kind of boring, and you should not be able
I
to predict it.
So I'll say this. I was gonna say at the end. I like the Royal Rumble in terms of like actual wrestling for once. That never happens
Mhm.
because you had a man in there for 70 minutes that is was that didn't feel empty. Like he actually felt like part of the match the whole time. Like I never forgot Gunta was there,
Yeah,
which is a good thing.
he constantly kept coming back in and eliminating people.
Yeah. Like that doesn't happen with a lot of people that stay that long. Shout out Johnny Gargano who stayed 30 minutes.
Did
Shocking.
nothing. Did
Uh
nothing. I don't think he eliminated
yeah.
anyone.
Even Sheamus and Drew, I felt like, other than them saving each other, I kind of forgot they were there. Gunther at least felt like he was there the whole time, rather dominant. Um, but again, I understand like the when you watch Royal Rumble, you want a bunch of surprise, you want a bunch of like story points, and this did not get that. In terms of just the wrestling, I thought it was good, but it was very yeah, they booked it weird. And we'll get to the end. They
Yeah.
booked it very, very confusing.
So Braun Strowman's out there. Ricochet comes out next to help out his tag team partner. I love that they put a flippy do guy with Braun Strowman. Um, he does some stuff. Then Logan Paul comes out at 29. All right, here we
As he
go.
should.
Add some wrestling to the show. Comes out and does the buckshot lariat. The does the classic wrestling move of let me immediately do the move that injured me in the first place to show that I'm better.
Yeah. Well,
The,
he's not actually injured, but yes.
well, did
I
he
don't
get?
think he actually got hurt.
Oh, I thought he did get injured for the buckshot lariat last time. At
Well,
the
he said he like tore his MCL and stuff. He didn't actually do that. He wouldn't be back.
Oh, I think he dramatized how bad his injuries were,
Absolutely.
but I think he
Absolutely.
probably still was hurt or something.
Yeah, maybe. He's still very good, by the
Yeah.
way, guys. Like he was one of the best wrestlers in this match of 30 guys who have wrestled for years.
Yeah. So he does some cool stuff. He does the buckshot lariat, and ultimately what he does is a cool ass spot
Yeah, it was awesome.
with Ricochet, where they're both on the outside and they're like, "Oh, what are we doing?" You know, we've seen the running crossbodies into each other, but we've finally seen a springboard crossbody into each other. The impact, the sound, the moment was
Oof,
great.
it was awesome. Yeah.
Good little spot there. That was the spot where I was very bored for there was a big lull in the middle of this. Brock
Oh, there
Lesnar woke me up
sure
and
was. There
whatnot.
was a lull from like 20 to 29
It was
or
like it
so.
was after Brock was gone, lull. Logan Paul
Yeah.
entered and we're like, all right. But really for me, it was like the moment that spot happened, the springboard
Yeah.
crossbody, it was like, all right, now we're back in it, baby.
Yeah. Also, Logan Paul jumped farther than Ricochet. I just want to point that out. Like he got over halfway across the ring on that thing.
I believe someone did tweet out that it is amazing how these two guys just did incredible athletic spot where one guy was on the indies and whatnot for like a decade and a half, and another guy spent a couple months at a gym. And that's just the level of athlete that Logan Paul is.
Yeah,
And then
he sure is.
number 30, Cody Rhodes makes his entrance. Couldn't have been more wrong in terms of the uh of when he'll come out.
They
But
should have just
I did get the betting point. I did say
you
number
did.
30. So Cody Rhodes
You
got
did.
there and
So
Cody Rhodes
if I thought he was ever going to come in at 30, which I never did,
never did.
you should have just kept the surprise.
I was going to ask you that. Yeah, I know. I don't see any reason why you should have done that. Now, I think the plan was to always have Cody come out at 30,
Absolutely.
and then it was Cody who was probably the one that was like, "No, announce that I'm going to be there, please. I would prefer you." I could totally see Cody be like, "No, I want you to announce that I'm going to be there. Let's sell some tickets by announcing I'm going to be there."
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I could see Cody doing that.
Cody Rhodes had probably the best weekend of his career because all the reports said that this guy sold out his merch time and time again at the goddamn superstore. I don't think anyone else did, or that was worth reporting about did, which is incredible. So AEW wins again, and him coming at 30, I just was like, why? And then I sat there, I was like, oh, he wanted the big entrance.
Yeah.
He wanted the big entrance if he wasn't coming in at number 1 or 2. And he got the big entrance. You got the whole dun dun. Wrestling has more than one royal family. And the best part of it all is that everyone knew he was going to be 30 by this point.
Yep.
And yet he got the loudest freaking pop in the match. And I was like,
Which, because you know what that does? It proves that you don't need to do surprises every single
yeah,
time. You'll
yeah.
still get a loud pop if you're
If
over.
there's yeah, and not only is he over, and we're gonna get to Sami Zayn and whatnot later.
Yeah.
This guy, and this is why, and people are gonna hate this. Booking this show in this order was so smart because you weren't gonna have any Sami Zayn blowback if that was the end of the show rather than the beginning.
Yes, that was a good idea.
Cody
Which,
Rhodes has his moment. Cody Rhodes is the hero of the night,
mhm,
one of the loudest pops. He had a top 3 pop on the night.
yep,
The only reason he may have not had number 1 was because of the ending segment
yep,
of the show. He gets the win. Him and Gunther have a really solid end of the match.
yeah, fantastic, fantastic
Yeah,
closing
like
sequence.
that's probably what made the match better for me is those 2 just went in there and like were awesome.
Yeah,
And
yeah, it was a
I
great
was like,
excuse to like let's have Cody and Gunther just have a match right
yeah.
now.
I was sitting there, I was like, this should be a world title match. I was like, this would be pretty good.
Well, Cody was
But
in
yeah,
there.
they had
Cody was in there for 15 minutes, so he pretty much had like a 10-minute match with Gunther.
well, yeah, well, I was gonna say, well, Gunther hit 70 minutes, which is insane because
Yeah,
Royal Rumbles usually last maybe 60 tops.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I thought Cody did great. Like people are gonna hate. I know some people just hate Cody, but I thought everything Cody did was great. Again, very confused why they wouldn't just have him do the 70 minutes and win. But we saw why, I guess, with the women's match. They picked a different person to go from one to winner. Um, but it's okay because he had a good showing. He was the star of the match. Him and Gunther kicked ass. He pretty much got to eliminate all the fans' least favorite wrestlers. He eliminated Dominic
yep,
and he eliminated Logan Paul.
yeah,
Logan Paul also might be the biggest heel.
yeah. The guy got
Him
booed.
in the US compared to him in Saudi Arabia is a very different thing. But uh I guess since I kind of skipped over it, um he did eliminate Seth Rollins.
Logan
So
Paul.
it
Yeah,
looks like Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul might be your WrestleMania match.
that's an interesting one. That is an
I
interesting
mean,
one.
if you're gonna just keep putting Logan Paul against like your best your best main eventers, I actually think that's pretty cool.
I'm into it. I'm into it. I'm into it. Yeah, but then Cody Rhodes eventually wins the Royal Rumble. It's now going to be him against Roman Reigns. How do you feel? Just on that, not regarding the closing show angle or anything, but just in regards of on paper, how do you feel Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, WrestleMania for the titles?
They're your 2 biggest stars in this company. Like that are actually there, not bringing back The Rock, not bringing back Austin. They are the 2 biggest stars that are actually present on these shows. I know Cody's been hurt, but you felt that in the reactions. Now, closing angle, and I'll give my thoughts about all that and how they probably should go about that. That's fine. But overall, Cody is the main star of Monday Night Raw. Has been since the moment he walked back in the door, whether it was Vince McMahon or otherwise. And Roman Reigns has been the top guy for 3 years now. Well, ever forever, but as world champion, I should say. Um, on paper, it's best. It's your top babyface against your top heel. It's pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. I was happy to see Cody win because I like Cody Rhodes. AEW wins again, like I said. I thought it was very. I don't know how many people noticed it, but he did the too sweet then the gun thing. So it's the after like while he was celebrating, so it looked like he did that to the Young Bucks and Kenny, which the Young Bucks acknowledged actually on Twitter with their bio. So that was cool. Um, so hopefully, those those four aren't like they don't seem to be on bad terms. I never thought they were fully on bad terms, just working terms maybe in terms of being VPs, but it makes sense on paper why you would go with this.
Yeah, I totally agree. I can totally see why on paper you go with this. This was seemingly the original plan. I don't think the plan was for the Sammy storyline to ever get as over as it has gotten. This is all this I think was seemingly the original plan. They're going with the plan. It's simple booking. It makes sense. I can see why they're doing it. They can Cody and Roman can do a good story here. They just have to have a good match.
Sammy, I don't think the Sammy thing was supposed to last until WrestleMania. I think that was supposed to last until like the pay-per-view after
Yeah,
that when he like joined them,
yeah.
and then it got hot and Triple H was like, "Oh,
Let's
all
just
right,
use this for a little bit.
yeah," and it's obviously worked out for them, and I still think in the end it'll just be tag team titles and whatnot, but
Which we'll
I
talk
think
about that.
it'll still get them over because it's Steen Erica winning their first tag titles in WWE ever, which is pretty interesting. But obviously, we'll get to that
Uh,
later on.
and final thoughts for the Royal Rumble. How upset are you that Tamatonga, Hikuleo, Jay White, Carl Fredericks, Dragon Lee? How upset are you that none of these guys showed up in the Rumble like they were supposed to?
Well, I'm not an idiot. So I didn't think any of them were showing up to begin with, because I don't know if people know this. Jay White has a goddamn match in 2 weeks of winner loser leave New Japan, and he's wrestling in Battle in the Valley. So yeah, I didn't sit here and say, "Oh man, the Switchblade's coming," and I didn't think Hikuleo was coming, and I didn't think Tamatonga was coming. I didn't think any of these people were coming. I never thought Kyrie was coming. I never thought that Minoru Suzuki was coming.
The Suzuki one's hilarious to me. It's
That
like
one
what?
never made sense to me. The only one that I slightly considered was the Great Muda, because him coming out after he retired a weekend ago would have been the funniest fucking thing of all time.
Oh, that would have been funny. That would have
It
been
would have been
funny.
the biggest pop ever for me for that reason alone. Nothing else.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next match, which was the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match between Bray Wyatt and LA Knight. So I thought this match was fine, just fine. You know, it did its little light gimmicks, and it had the paint and the eye contacts, and you know, it had the post match beatdown stuff. It was fine. You know, it was a it did some match stuff, broke announce table, sure, whatever. I will also say that I actually liked the dark light, blackout light gimmick, the fluorescent light
Yeah.
gimmick.
Uh huh.
I actually like that. The match, the visuals of it definitely looked like Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
Definitely looked like what a Mountain Dew bottle looks like. So they nailed that. But it also, I was like, changing the lights out gimmick to that sort of black light look, I thought was actually a good idea, and I was like, I actually liked that. I don't know, that wasn't. I thought that presentation was actually very well done, and I think it was way better than what it could have been, which was just a straight up lights out match.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's fine. I was into that actually. It was it was weird, it was spooky, it was whatever, but it was fine. But yeah, what do you think about the match?
So I read that if you were in the building, it was like impossible to see.
Of course it was.
Obviously,
This is a Punjabi prison, but for Bray Wyatt.
I did like how it looked. Like in terms of what a Mountain Dew pitch black match should look like, this I think was best case scenario. Like in all ways, shape, or form. The match was bad because literally the first thing they did was a mistake. It looked like LA Knight ran into Bray Wyatt, and Bray Wyatt was like, they had a clothesline, and he just like fell, and I was like, all right,
Yeah,
I get it. This match stinks. It wasn't a good match. I don't think it was like the complete dud that people think. Yeah, it was pretty close. It wasn't a complete dud though. Like it got the job done. LA Knight deserved better, I'll say, because I think LA Knight's like the reason this feud even had any energy behind it.
Yeah.
It's a fact of life. Bray Wyatt's not good. Um,
Yeah.
him changing his look every 5 seconds with a different mask and eye contacts and uh anything else. I guess that was cool because it played to the lights, right? Like that was the cool part. Maybe no, I don't know. I could be
Mhm.
wrong. Playing to the lights was smart. Okay,
Yes.
that's what I thought. But boy, oh boy, howdy, Uncle Howdy. I am not. I'm all set with Bray Wyatt. I'm all I'm all good. This was my perfect dose of like, oh, what would a Bray Wyatt match look like in 2023? Got it. Thanks. Appreciate it. I'm good. Uncle Howdy also completely missed LA Knight on the dive.
So yeah, the match ends. Then Bray Wyatt puts on a mask for some reason that allows him to not to feel pain. Don't know. I think Brian Alvarez tweeted this. Don't know why I didn't put the mask on earlier. Don't know why he waited. When he puts on a mask, allows him not feel pain. Um, then moves LA Knight, scares him over to this one specific setup area. Uncle Howdy's at the top, being like, "Ooh, spooky, my lady, how you doing?" Uh, and then cool visual of like the Darby Allin elbow drop, coffin drop into the thing, complete miss, fireballs and everything. That was a cool visual. And then and I just thought it was super dorky when it was. I thought that was a cool visual, but I thought it was super dorky with like then Bray Wyatt grabbing his suspenders like he's an old time mayor in a Western
Well, here's Uncle
saloon.
Howdy.
Yeah, he's now Uncle Howdy, I guess. So he's grabbing his suspenders, and then he got the four puppets from 6 months ago at the top of the thing, be like, "Ooh,
I
look
didn't
at
even
us."
see that. I think I tuned myself out.
they, were
Um,
they were where Uncle Howdy were, just hanging out, like, "Ooh, look at us."
I
It's like, you guys, I haven't
uh,
seen you in 6 months. What are you doing? What are you
I
doing up there?
I don't even know what to say about this. I I'm just so
Just
happy the match is
holding,
short.
just holding his suspenders. My, we're quite in a pickle we are.
He he knew Splash Mountain was closing. It was like, let me go back to the years that came out and get my suspenders going and be like, all right, yeah. You know, it's so weird because like I'm on wrestling Twitter and whatnot,
Hold on,
and as
Can Disney buy WWE and they do the Tom Sawyer Island into Island of Revel
that's
whatever?
what I've been selling, man. It
But
makes so
also,
much
can we
sense.
can we make it Bray Wyatt's haunted mansion? Or even better, Uncle Howdy's Uncle Mansion.
It's just rambling rabbit the whole time.
It's all the
Talking.
puppets. They're the four heads in the the uh,
Um,
the graveyard. They're singing
I
along.
I I don't know, but Bray Wyatt stuff's just it's so overdone. It's so done. Like I don't care. The reason the match wasn't as bad as it possibly could have been is because they went in there, they did the match and left.
Yeah, quick little match. Wasn't
Thank
too bad. It
God.
was fine, totally fine. But it's just it
Oh,
got
I thought the work was pretty bad.
mm,
Like the actual wrestling was bad.
sure.
Um, but it was a nice visual,
Yeah, it was
with the
cool. It was
lights and
interesting.
stuff. You
Yeah.
know. All right,
Anyway, next
let's move
match.
on. Oh,
Uh,
wait a minute. No, I have a better story. I have a better story. So fun fact, if you follow me on Twitter, you already know this. But I, trooper that I am, went and got myself a Mountain Dew Pitch Black. And I
oh
said, you know
yes.
what? I'm gonna drink the drink and I'm gonna review the drink and I'm gonna see if the drink is better than the match. Boy, man, the drink left me fucked up. It did not treat me well. I haven't had, like I don't drink Mountain Dew all that much.
Yeah.
Um, I like Baja Blast. I like normal Mountain Dew. And whatever the blue one was, I used to love that one when I was younger.
Voltage.
Voltage, yes,
I still drink Voltage all the time.
Voltage was my favorite. I don't see it as much anymore, so that's
Yeah.
probably a good thing. But anyways, I went and got the Pitch Black, and I was like, oh, first sip, all right, this is okay, it's fine, it's Mountain Dew. Um, I forgot that we went over that was dark citrus because when I looked at it, I was like, oh, it's purple, so it's grape.
Yeah.
I have no idea what dark citrus means. I still have yet to know what dark citrus means. But the more I drank it, the worse I felt. it was starting to hit me, and I was like, "What is in this? This is bad." And it started to taste worse and taste worse. It tasted like cough syrup by the end, but I still rated the drink higher than the match.
Did the match look like how the Pit Mountain Dew Pitch Black tasted?
It made me I think it looked exactly how I felt on the inside.
Perfect. Moving on. Raw Women's Championship match: Bianca Belair and Alexa Bliss. Because Uncle Howdy had to get rolled out on a stretcher, he did not make an appearance in this match. This match was 7 minutes long. We already kind of talked about how they got cut, probably cut for time somewhere. And yeah, I thought this match was bad.
Alexa
Uh,
Bliss is, like, not good.
no,
She's actually, like,
worse. She got
really
worse.
bad.
She used to be way better. I mean, she wasn't like amazing or anything, next level, but she used to be
No,
way
she's
better
just,
than
like,
this.
bad now.
Yeah, I did not think she was good in this match at all, and I don't.
She
I don't know what it is. I don't know what
I'll
changed.
never blame Bianca because I know Bianca's good. I've seen it many times. Uh, this was really bad. Like, I was in shock almost of how bad
Yeah,
Alexa Bliss was. Um, between these 2 matches were so short and harmless that it's like I couldn't think about it long enough to care. Um, but holy she is I don't know what happened.
yeah,
It's like she forgot how to wrestle.
yeah.
I mean, she wasn't like,
She wasn't. She wasn't. Like I said, she wasn't a great wrestler. She was, maybe a two and a
no,
half,
she
three
was
star
serviceable.
wrestler.
Yeah, now she's like, 1
Yeah, it's rough waters.
against Bianca Belair,
Yeah, and
who
maybe.
you and me agree is very good.
Yeah, maybe that's part of it. She's against someone who's we know is great. This
Oh,
is.
yeah, so it just brings it down all the more when it's really bad.
Mhm.
I will say, though, that I'm happy Bianca Belair can now move on.
Yeah, and let's talk about who she's moving on to. Women's Royal
Well, I
Rumble
mean, it's the
here.
next match, so, yeah, I think by default we will.
How dare you? Number one comes out Rhea Ripley, not Liv Morgan.
No, I was like, "Of course it's not." I was like, "Of course the whole angle for weeks has been, I wanna go in at number 1, and I wanna win the Royal Rumble, and yada, 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 blah, 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 blah." I was like, "So wait a minute, you just didn't not only did you not come in number 1, you
She,
came in number 2."
which is essentially the same spot.
It is, but you and me both know that they realized during the past few weeks that they're like, "Oh, we want Rhea Ripley to win from number 1 and not, like, number 2 or 3 or 4 or 5," you
Yes.
get the point. So they're like, "Fuck Liv's story, we'll just move her to 2, and we'll do this."
But why did no one tell Liv Morgan to stop saying that she wanted to come in at number one?
Because, Ryan, it's the same reason that Edge came in at number 1 despite them doing the whole WWE backstage thing. I don't know if you remember this. And they announced who were gonna be the first 2 competitors, and they said Randy Orton specifically would
Yep.
be number 1 and Edge would be number 2.
Yep.
And they said on the TV that they said, "Edge is coming out because he wants the match to start or something, so he's actually gonna come out number 1." As if it fucking matters
Yeah.
if he walked out 10 seconds after Randy Orton or not,
Mhm.
but it's because they wanted number 1 to win. It's the same exact reason. They don't think about these things weeks in advance.
They don't.
They just realize it on the spot, like, "Oh, you know what? That'd be cool. Let's have him go from number 1. Yeah, let's do that."
They had like not even half of the women announced before the Rumble, and most of these women are on the roster. I don't understand what they're doing. I mean, let's talk about it. Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, number one and number two, respectively. They lasted the entire time. They were the final two. The rest of the Royal Rumble does not matter.
One part did.
One part
Thank
did,
you.
sure, but ultimately,
Otherwise, nothing.
ultimately doesn't matter because number one and two lasted the entire time, and then it was just the last two of them, and then there was that the match was basically just two people, and then
I
ultimately
actually
Rhea Ripley
forgot Liv
wins.
Morgan was there for most of the match. I'm not gonna lie to you.
She
I
was there
was
for the entire
shocked when
match.
I know. I was shocked to learn that she was still in there at one point. I was
Yeah.
like, "What?"
Yeah,
Zoe Stark was also in there randomly because I
yeah.
saw her get eliminated. I was like, "Wait a minute, did you come in like 20 minutes ago. Why are you still here?
Yeah.
Roxanne Perez was in this match. She
Mhm.
was in there a lot shorter than Zoe Stark.
Yeah, we'll get
Just
to it. We'll
pointing out.
get to it. But any thoughts on Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan since they were the first ones out and they won?
Rhea Ripley was the right choice, and to me, the only choice to win this. People talk about for a long time how the Royal Rumble should make a star. That was always the thing with people, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, it should win a star, blah 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 blah. And I always, I was between that and well, no, whoever wins the Rumble should be main eventing your biggest show of the year. So
Yeah.
do what you need to do.
They need to sell.
Um,
They should be main eventing and big enough to sell tickets.
right,
Now
right,
it
and
should.
that's
Now, if you build up the story enough, you should get it the
yeah. No matter who
person to the
wins,
point of that when they win
right,
the Rumble, they are now
right.
a star and can
Which
sell WrestleMania tickets.
which is why Cody made so much sense
Hmm.
in that Royal Rumble. And this is why Rhea makes so much sense in this Royal Rumble. Because the money match that this women's division has, somehow still has,
Yep.
shocking, I know, is Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley.
Yes.
That is the one money match. That is the one match I actually really want to see for Bianca Belair. Specifically her, because I feel like she's wrestled everyone else. So who should win the Royal Rumble? Oh, maybe the person that would challenge Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley. Her going from number one, obviously a big way to put her over. And I think that's kind of how you should put someone over
Yeah.
if it's going to be a newer person. I know she's been Raw Women's Champion, but shut up. Vince made sure Rhea Ripley went from this badass that was on NXT to
No
absolutely nothing.
confidence. Yeah.
So the one thing Triple H has done for this women's division is rebuild Rhea Ripley
Hmm.
to a point where she's actually a badass and actually like gets reactions, is cool, and like this was her match as it should have been. She was the main focal point of this match, and now don't get me wrong, I think she faded a little more than Gunther did in the men's match at times. But overall, she was the main part. She had big eliminations. I thought the ending elimination, which we'll get to, was great. The way she did that, that was just freak of nature type stuff.
Yep.
Uh, Liv Morgan again, forgot she was there. Stunned she was final two. Don't understand why she was final two. It was just to have the 1 and 2 be final two. That's what it ultimately was.
Would you like a fun Bianca Belair Rhea Ripley match? Or
But
stat, I should say.
yeah, yeah, sure. I was like,
They've had a
match?
lot of singles matches with each other, but
Yeah.
only two of them made tape. One
NXT
of
Takeover Portland.
NXT Takeover Portland and
Yeah,
an
okay.
NXT Takeover TV show. They have not wrestled
Oh,
one
okay.
on one on the main roster other than a dark match on SmackDown in May.
Okay,
But
whatever.
that doesn't count. It's not.
They actually booked this at one point,
Yeah,
I think, and then didn't Rhea get hurt
yeah, I think so.
or something?
This match has never happened on the main roster. It only happened in NXT twice. Their WrestleMania match will be their third match on tape.
Wow,
In kayfabe, it'll be their third match.
that's a big deal
Yeah.
because especially with the NXT and how removed that is, and Bianca was not who she is now, obviously in NXT.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal. That's a big deal. They made the right choice, and I think that's why I was ultimately happy with the two Rumble matches because they made the right choices. Like people were like, "Oh, well, it ended up being predictable." I was like, "Yes, but this is one of those times when predictability
Yep.
is okay."
Yeah.
It's not like it was Brock Lesnar and Ronda Rousey.
And we'll quickly go through the rest of it. Number 3, Dana Brooke. Would you be shocked to learn she was in there for 11 minutes?
I was more shocked to learn she's been in every Rumble.
I walked in the room, went to Jesse, and told her, I was like, by the way, they just said for number 3 that she's been in every Royal Rumble. They've only been doing Rumbles since 2019. I would say that most of the women in this 2018. I would say that most of the women in this Royal Rumble have been in every single Royal Rumble. But what do I know?
They were like, Candice, this is third match for Candice LeRae. And I was like, Candice LeRae, this is the first time she's on the main roster. So that tells me everything I need to know.
Number 4 was Emma. Actually, a fun stat where she was fired before they had the first Royal Rumble.
Yeah, they even said that on TV.
I was like,
wow. That's all right.
She was a non-entity in this match, just like Dana Brooke. Shayna Baszler was in here. Eliminated nobody.
She was final 2 once upon a time.
she was. She was important at one point
I
in
thought she was
time.
gonna win that year.
Bailey comes out at number 6, a little early on. Nice little spot. We were pushing
Yeah,
damage control.
they went with the story you'd expect, that we see in some Royal Rumbles where the big faction eliminates a bunch of people, and
Mm-hmm.
then the big good guy comes in and
Oh
kind
yeah.
of doesn't really stop them.
Yeah, her Bailey and Dakota Kai and Io Sky all eliminated 5 people because they eliminated all 5 of those people, I believe, all at the same time with everybody
Yeah,
else.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
no.
yeah.
But then next up is B-Fab. B-Fab came in, looked bad, didn't wrestle
Oh,
well.
real bad. This, I think it was Sean Ross Sapp that tweeted, "This is her third ever televised match."
I was just about to look up to see how many matches B-Fab has had, and cannot be much. She has had in her career 14 matches. Not a lot. She has wrestled. Yep, this is her third televised.
How many
match.
times has she wrestled since she came back?
Since she came back? When did she get fired? I think since she came back, she had 3. Yeah, it looks like it. When she came back, she had 3, and then the Royal Rumble.
Wait, but this was her third televised match. So does she have?
No, sorry, she had 3 house tour matches. She worked NXT in 2021, came to the main roster, got fired, came back in October or September, whenever she came back, wrestled Natalia twice in October, then wrestled in December in a 6-person tag, and then was in the Rumble. B-Fab.
All right.
Number 8, Roxanne Perez, the NXT Women's Champion, was in there for 5 minutes.
Yeah, she got damage controlled.
Yep, she got damage controlled. Not really a pop when she came out, but she sort of got one once she did some moves.
She was one of the best wrestlers in this match.
Yeah.
An accomplishment, seeing that she is the youngest wrestler in this match by a sizable amount.
Well, I would also say that she's probably the best wrestler because I think this is accurate. I think she's the wrestler with the least amount of PC training under her belt. So I'll say that she's the best wrestler of the match. Dakota Kai and Io Sky, I'll group them together at 9 and 10. They came out. They just did a lot of damage control stuff.
I remember the days that, Io Shirai was important and not a lackey and not named Io Sky. And, yeah, I miss those days. If Triple H never went into power and Vince McMahon didn't do Vince McMahon, then I'd have Io Shirai next weekend in Stardom instead.
Did you know that Io Shirai one time dated Nasawa Rangai?
What?
According to Io Shirai's Wikipedia, Odate, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, was previously in a relationship with fellow professional wrestler Kasuje Nasawa, better known as Nasawa Rangai. The two lived together in oh my god, I'm having a stroke. Koto, Tokyo. That was hard to say.
That's a really weird thing to just randomly have, so I'm not going to believe it.
Then in 2012, Shirai and Nasawa were arrested at the Narita International Airport in Narita, Chiba, upon their return from Mexico under suspicion of trying to smuggle 75 grams of marijuana, hidden inside 2 paintings of the two into the country. They denied the charges, claiming that the paintings were gifts from fans. Io Shirai was released from the detention center on June 12th. On June 21st, she had a press conference publicly apologizing to her fans, employees, and coworkers, while again denying the charges. She revealed that she had not considered retirement, but wanted to work again and regain the trust of her peers and fans, while also revealing that she and Asawa had ended their relationship. On June 28th, Japan's public prosecutor office decided not to prosecute Shirai over the incident. So yeah, not only did they date, but they had a huge scandal in 2012.
So what you're telling me is she has dated the 2 most hated people in Puro, which is the Sauron guy and Evil.
The two of the scummiest, hated people. She has a type. She's got a type. We can verify that.
I guess so. All right. Anyways,
Number 11, Natalia. Number 12, Candice LeRae. Number 13, Zoe Stark. Commentary, Corey Graves is really high on Zoe Stark for some reason. Don't know why. I guess he's just a fan.
Zoe Stark had a like oddly decent showing.
Yeah, she was in here for 26 minutes. She was in here for a long time. Zoe Stark is really good. She doesn't have any crowd connection at all. So
She's she's
crickets.
like the reverse Dominic, except Dominic doesn't really have like a charisma either. She's just like, she's a pretty good wrestler. If she was there during the NXT time when they had like all those great people in the women's division,
yeah,
she wouldn't matter. But since she's not, she's one of the better ones in the current crop. She ain't no Tiffany Stratton, I'll tell you that. But whatever.
she's a workhorse in a time where they don't necessarily need workhorses.
No, Tiffany Stratton's a workhorse. This is just Zoe Stark.
My apologies.
Did you see that moonsault?
I did. The 1, 2, 3. Here we go.
Is that what she calls it?
No.
I feel like that's exactly how she would say it. From the few promos I've seen, I was like, that sounds exactly like her. I was like, that's pretty good.
Well, I'll pitch it to her next week. I'll do that. Number 14, Xia Li. Kind of came out a little bit of crickets. Didn't do anything much. Becky Lynch, number 15.
She had a good pop, as you'd expect from Becky Lynch.
Yeah, nice little pop. Eliminated 2 people. Ultimately got eliminated by Bayley. That was interesting.
Yeah. And then Bayley got eliminated by some schmuck.
By some schmuck named Liv Morgan.
I knew it. Liv Morgan ended up not being a schmuck by the end of this match. But, when Liv Morgan eliminated Bayley, I thought, oh, that's weird.
So it looks so now that Becky Lynch is out, and Bayley was also out, is that the WrestleMania match? Bayley versus Becky? Is that what we're doing?
At this point, why not just hold off?
Hold off the steel cage match.
You already didn't do the steel cage match. Why not just hold off? Because otherwise, what are these two supposed to do?
Exactly. Maybe I was gonna say maybe a 6-woman tag or something. I don't know.
They're gonna do Charlotte versus Becky, aren't they?
No. Tegan Knox, number 16, kind of crickets. They really talked about how she had the shiniest wizard.
Oh yeah.
Which
Corey Graves could not fucking stand it.
He's like, I'm pretty sure you got to talk about Muda about that one.
He was like, what the hell does that mean?
Yeah.
And Michael Cole goes, I think, was it Matt McAfee that said, well, she has the most wizards? And I literally burst it out. I was like, I don't even know what the fuck that means.
I thought the shiniest wizard meant that she had the most metal in her knees, which made her knees shiny.
Maybe. I just assumed best, which I guess maybe if you have metal in your knee would make it the best shining wizard.
Yeah. Asuka, 17. Number Asuka makes her
This
return.
Was the pop of the night, baby.
Pop of the night. Makes her return.
One of the pops of the
nice little kabuki mask. Great kabuki mask here.
Yeah, she was Kana. She was back to being like her old self.
The clown. The clown is out.
So originally when the music hit, I was like, who the hell is this? Like, because she had a new theme song.
Yeah, another CFO dollar sign.
And they were showing me a sea of people freaking out. And I was like, who is it? And then I saw the mask. I was like, oh, nice. Asuka got like real cheers. That's very nice, because she deserves those. But she was awesome. She was the only other part besides Rhea Ripley that I remember from most of this match.
Yeah. I only remember her entrance. I don't remember any. I remember she had an entrance.
She beat people up. She hit people a lot. She had good entrance. She had good gear.
Yep.
And she had good
I love
makeup.
her. I love her gear. I love her new gear.
Yeah,
that's a great change. And then
can you believe she's like 42?
Yeah,
I sat there thinking about that.
Old.
I was like, "There's no way."
She is old. She is 41 actually.
41. Sorry. But either way, I'm correct.
Yes. No, she is up there. She can still go. Piper Niven. They changed her name to Dewdrop, and this was the moment in the night where I realized that WWE's commentary team has just sort of become like me on Ring Post Radio, where it's a lot of forced puns. Like like did you did do you see her drop that person? They did that like 4 times, and I was like, fucking shut up. Shut up, Michael Cole. Shut up, Pat McAfee. We get it. We get it. And then her coming out. I love that they changed her name to Piper Niven, but they don't reference Dewdrop initially. They just say, it's coming out like a viper. It's
Oh
Piper
yeah.
Niven. They're referencing her indie name from like 5 years ago. and like not Dewdrop.
At
What are
this
we
point,
doing?
for those who don't count, there were 2 members of Queen's Quest in the ring.
That
Just for
is
you.
that's true. That's
That
something.
was that was my fun fact of the night. I was like, "Oh, that's cool." Not that anyone else cares, but I do. And then Io Sky was eliminated like immediately.
Yeah, because Io Sky was eliminated at 11. Didn't last long. Where was I? Piper Niven was in there for quite a while, so good on her. Tamina, nobody Mina, then Tamina, number
I
15.
can't believe this person. She's still employed by this company.
Yeah, in there for 11 minutes. She was in there for quite
And
a while.
not only employed, but used.
Speaking about people that are employed with this company, number 20, Chelsea Green makes her appearance. The crowd had no idea who was making a shushing noise. They thought it was Chad Gable, and then they popped when they heard it's Chelsea, or whatever the fuck it was.
They actually did pop, which shocked me.
Yeah, yeah,
I was like, really? She got a reaction?
yeah.
Wow, good for her. Seeing that, I think her entire WWE career is like, I have no booking plans.
Her entire WWE career has been like, yeah, they want to do something with her, but no one has any idea.
They want her on the roster. They just don't know why.
They have no actual ideas to do with this person.
But hey, she has a record now. Congratulations to her.
Yeah, good on her. Chelsea Green shows up. She was in there for 5 seconds. Oof.
Incredible.
Oof, boof.
That was about 5 seconds. All right.
I believe BFAB made a record, and then Chelsea Green came out and broke the record. Anyways, thoughts on Chelsea Green back in WWE? Moving on, 21.
Impact. Impact may have lost me again, and that was tough. But
I'm upset Corey Graves or Michael Cole didn't force a pun by saying, well, that new record certainly made an impact in the women's division.
see, I was expecting, wow, she's acting like a real Karen right now, since that's going to be her character or whatever.
Mm-hmm. She was doing the character
And
all while coming down the stage.
If I heard Michael Cole call someone a Karen,
He's going to.
Shut it off.
He's going to.
Oh, I know he is.
What a real Chelsea. Zelina Vega, number 21, comes out just like a character from a video game that isn't out yet.
Yeah, sponsors, baby. I think that's why Zelina Vega still signed.
And she is
signed to begin with.
And she is going to do commentary for a video game. I don't know what that means.
Not only a video game, but Street Fighter,
yeah,
a video game.
But what is
a
commentary?
pretty popular game. I have no idea.
What does that mean? Anyways, Raquel Rodriguez out at number 22. I thought she would be more important than she was.
They acted like she was for about 2 seconds, and then they realized, oh, this is Raquel Rodriguez.
Yeah. Mia Yim came out. The only time they ever referred to her as Mia Yim was on her little graphic that said Mia Yim. Otherwise
she's Michin.
Yes. Remember when everyone got upset about that? Well, guess what? They don't care anymore. Time has passed. We've moved on. It's Minchin. Chelsea Green.
Rey Mysterio was hurt, by the way.
What's that?
I just read Rey Mysterio was actually hurt.
Oh, like actually injured from the Karrion Kross match from SmackDown?
Yeah. So they made Dom, even though I don't believe it. Whatever. Who cares? Who's next?
I was going to say that what name do you think they're going to change Chelsea Green's to? Karen something?
Chelsea. Just Chelsea. Green's not going to be in there.
No. Karen Money. I don't know why I think that's so funny. Karen Money.
Anyways.
Lacey Evans, number 24. She high-fived a fan. Number 25, Michelle McCool.
Lacey Evans.
I like the new gear change and new gimmick change of Lacey Evans. I'm into it.
Lacey Evans is just such a waste of my time.
I
That's what
agree.
she is.
I do agree. I do like the gimmick change. I think it could work. It's just I don't know. I think
It's just she's Lacey Evans.
it's just people put up such a issue about her not high fiving a kid. Who gives a shit? It's heel heat. God damn. Anyways, number
Kevin
20.
Owens ended up giving that same kid his shirt.
Yeah, no.
So shout out to Kevin Owens, I guess. I don't
Uh,
care about Lacey Evans, and people find ways to care about Lacey Evans somehow.
mhm. Uh,
Anyway,
anyway. Um, number 25, Michelle McCool comes out from the crowd wearing Uggs.
we don't talk about how great of a theme song Michelle McCool has,
Yeah, it's pretty
and
good.
she has a great theme song because when it hits, I'm like, yeah, Michelle McCool, and then I'm like, oh, all right. Anyways, she's she looks exactly the same as she did when she was a wrestler, like a
Yeah,
decade ago.
yeah. Nice little faith
Not,
breaker.
not even. I think she's been gone for like 2 years. Oh yeah, they called the Styles Clash a face breaker,
Oh, that's
but
what. No, that was Michelle McCool's old move.
that's what
Was
she called it.
yeah, the faith breaker.
Oh, I laughed when they called it that. I was like, oh, they didn't know the name of the move.
Because
Oh
they
no,
they didn't
she does it
allow.
really good though, because she does it like quick.
Yes, if I'm not mistaken, they didn't allow the Styles Clash to be done by anyone. They didn't like the move. I think that's one of the reasons why Styles never went to the company. It took him so long to get into the company. And then they just like pull a fast one on WWE about like, with Michelle McCool say like, "Oh, can she do this move called the Faith Breaker?" Sure, well, I don't care. And then she
Is
did
that
the Styles
not
Clash.
the funniest thing ever?
Yeah,
That
it's
AJ
pretty good.
Styles couldn't come, and then like he gets here and it's not his finisher.
Yeah, exactly. Number 26, Indy Hartwell comes out to not only crickets but like weird jeers from commentary.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They were like, I don't know, I don't know.
To number
I don't
27, Sonya Deville
know.
comes out wearing a little like black robe, long black hair, and her arms out. Made me think of, oh dang, they couldn't get Deanna. So they got Sonya in here. Good on her. Um,
Why is Diana still in Impact?
I'd rather her be an Impact than WWE. I
No,
guess.
she
I
should
guess
be
to be
like
serious,
AEW should get her.
maybe if she came into WWE, she would have had the title
I'm
match
currently
instead of
listen,
Sonya.
listen, time out, time out, time out. Anytime I bring up like other wrestlers leaving Impact, it's usually not to go here. First of all, especially if it's Deanna Purrazzo. Second, Jamie Hayter versus Deanna Purrazzo would be great.
I agree. I agree. It'd be fantastic. Um, da, 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 da. I mean, to be fair, Jamie Hayter versus anybody at this point would be great.
That's true.
Number 28, Shotzi. Number 29, Nikki Cross. Michael Cole, quote from Michael Cole. She doesn't have any sanity with her. Is that fun? Because she's crazy. She doesn't have
I
any
felt like Vince was back in the
sanity.
microphone.
Yeah, it was constant like constant bits like that with Michael Cole being like Chelsea Green acting like a real Karen.
I didn't hear anything about Bullet Club or anything last night. So
Nope, not at all.
he must have lost his opportunity.
Guess Jay White's not coming in. Number 30, Nia Jax. We heard the rumors that she was coming back into the company this weekend. She's officially back. She's not like most girls, so I hear. Nia Jax comes out, looks like she doesn't even want to be there at all.
Couldn't want to be there less.
Comes out, puts it on when she gets to the ring, and gets eliminated 2 minutes later.
So, you want to know what the worst news is?
I don't. Sure, hit me.
She has a T-shirt, so it actually means she's back. I thought
The
this was
irresistible
a one.
force.
I thought they said, "Hey, can you just put on like your thing once, show up, and then get eliminated?"
Yeah.
That is not the case. We're not doing that. Um, sadly, she is back. She was bad, as you'd expect. They had her go out there early, which I couldn't even begin to understand how they fucked that up. how there was no countdown. The music just hit, and Nia Jax showed up, and they're like, "Number 30, Nia Jax." So I was like, "Great, awesome! This is your big surprise." So it is official, everybody. Triple H will re-sign anyone. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
she not good, not good.
Yeah.
I said earlier in the night when Pat McAfee kicked out the show that he would be the best surprise. Boy, oh boy, was I right. Did I not nail that? I
Yeah.
nailed it.
You nailed
I
it.
nailed it. The end of the match, I thought was good with Rhea hanging and holding and then lifting her, getting her legs up and ripping Liv Morgan off and winning the match. And yeah, I'm happy Asuka got to be final 3. That was cool for her. Since this was her second Royal Rumble ever, and it was her first time ever eliminated, obviously, because she won the first one. But I did think it was cool that she got to final 3. So even when I think Asuka's treated wrong, she still has another accolade to her name of just being really, really good statistically.
I mean, she's no Dana Brooke. I mean, she hasn't been in every single Royal Rumble.
No, this is only her second. She was in the first and then this one.
And she won the
Which
first.
is yeah, and I think she's had a title match almost every other year.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
I just want so before we go to the main event stuff, I just want everyone to. Can you go to www.shop.com so you can see what I'm looking at here?
Is it the Nia Jax T-shirt?
No. Well, that's what I was checking. But I just want you to see what the first page is.
American Nightmare, new stuff.
Yeah.
Whoa,
The whole entire thing. The thing underneath is Shop Cody Rhodes too.
Whoa.
No one try to tell me who is the star of this show.
Whoa.
Okay.
There's a Bray Wyatt T-shirt that reacts to UV light.
Oh man, that would have been perfect for last night.
I wish I knew
also,
that.
they're now selling Nightmare Family stuff.
Nightmare Family stuff? Ooh.
Yeah, so shout out QT Marshall. Hope he's getting some of that dough.
Oh yeah, you can finally get the zip up hoodies. They don't think they ever got those.
Not only are they doing that, but they've already sold out of 3 sizes.
Hot damn.
Cody Rhodes, man, he sells merch.
He's a merch seller. What can you say?
He's a undeniable,
undesirable,
uncrowned. That is his new 3-word catchphrase. Uncrowned. Well, Cody, I don't know if you remember this. You booked yourself out of the world.
Main event, Royal Rumble.
Everyone will see you win. Just saying.
We're almost at 2 hours, so we're gonna close that.
We're almost at 2 hours.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens for all the titles.
Oh my God! No, sorry. This is important. They have a commemorative weightlifting belt for Cody Rhodes.
You can buy the belt. Put it.
No! A commemorative version. They have a legitimate replica, and then they have a commemorative version, like they have for their titles.
Jesus.
Look at. I'm in shock.
I know what Scotty's putting his money down on.
I know what I'm hanging up behind me. Wrestling has more than one royal family.
Main event, all the titles: Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens.
All the titles.
I thought this match was really good. There was one really bad botch for Kevin Owens during it.
Oh yeah, I literally tweeted Kevin Owens is a great pro wrestler, and then that happened. I was like, oh, all right.
Other than that botch, which is real bad, good stuff. I thought
good wrestling match.
I thought this was a really good match because it was definitely like this was a working boots match. No drama or anything. There was the referee stuff and the chairs, but there was no soliloquies, no monologues.
No haikus.
We kept it straight. We kept it normal. Did a match. I was like, perfect. Let's do that.
Yeah.
I thought the match was really good. I thought it was the best. I thought to me this is the match of the night. Easy.
Oh, it was the match of the night for sure. It was really good. No complaints about the match. I thought Kevin Owens was great in his role, obviously, of making you believe he might actually win. We never. And I thought the chair spot was really good, where Sammy delayed on giving him the chair, and that led to the stunner and the near fall. I thought that was nice. Yep. And then I thought it was even better that Roman just snapped and tried to kill Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
Instead of just being like, oh, why did you do that to me, Sammy? He's just like, all right, I'm gonna kill your friend then.
Yeah, perfect. It's exactly,
also,
exactly what
the steel steps thing was terrifying.
Yeah, that was great. That was great. I love that spot. That was a good, really good spot. Really good bump by Kevin there. Roman wins, and then we get the quote unquote all caps the angle. Has everyone talking?
I've seen some people call this. I've seen some people say a lot of things
I've seen
about
people
this
crying
entire
over
thing.
this. Writing all caps. This is the greatest story ever told. This is what makes
Yeah,
wrestling great. I've
yeah,
seen people say that this was over dramatic hogwash. I've seen
yeah,
people say this is like some good, some bad.
yeah.
Huge spectrum. Where are you on the scale?
I think it was a good angle. I think it was a good angle, good way to close the show. Um, it's kind of the way they should have went. I like that they didn't just do the usual, oh, they turned on Sammy. I like that Sammy was the one that made the decision, hit Roman with the chair because he was sick of his best friend getting beat up. And
Yeah.
I thought it was a great job. Is it the greatest angle of all time? No. Is it the greatest story of all time? No. Is it a good story? Is it the best story WWE's had in years? Since probably like I don't even know. I was gonna try to give you one, maybe Kofi, but that wasn't a story that they actually did. That was best long term, multiple month story. The Kofi one was a spur of the moment type thing.
Sure.
Um, the Becky one, they obviously fumbled a million times. Uh, despite her popularity, they were able to fumble that a million times. So probably since the Yes movement, then which
Which
also was
even
lucky.
which even then wasn't
This
because of
this was
them
lucky too, though. We just went over it earlier. Like this wasn't
the
the
plan.
plan originally, but I think they have figured the story out to the point where I can call it their story now.
Well, how many times in the past several years we just named four instances where WWE had storylines on their television things get over that were not the initial plan at all and just gets completely
Well,
swapped.
those are their best stories most of the time.
Yeah, and because they have the most because it's happening because the crowd wants to see it.
Yeah,
Despite many of those, the WWE were actively trying to stop. Dean O'Brien actively trying to stop it. Becky Lynch actively trying to make her a heel.
yeah.
Sami Zayn,
So,
obviously the plan was Cody Rhodes. Kofi Kingston, that was just like, oh, this guy got over. We lost
yeah,
Mustafa Ali. This guy got over. We're just gonna push this guy then. You know,
yeah, yeah. That's exactly what happened. He had that great elimination chamber showing, and it all switched from there. And Kofi had the long. He was there forever and stuff like that. Um, so I was thinking about because I wrote an article the other yesterday about Jamie Hayter, and while I was doing it, I was like, she got popular very quickly, and they just switched it and they put the title on her. I'm sure that wasn't instantly the goal, but they said, all right, let's just get the title on her. She's red hot.
yeah,
And I was just thinking, I sat there thinking like, imagine if W did that every time they had a popular wrestler.
yeah.
They'd probably have a lot more fans than they do now. And I was like, and then when this angle was done, because I thought they did a great job,
Mhm.
they played the Shield thing, and I've only seen 75,000 fucking people tell me that they did that. Um,
Sorry, what they did? What Shield thing?
I don't know if you remember this, but when Seth Rollins turned on the Shield, he hit
Mm,
Roman Reigns in the back with a chair,
yeah.
right? Do you remember that?
Was there anyone else there?
No. Uh, no. No, just a casualty, I guess.
The ref maybe?
Yeah, the ref was there. Triple H and Randy Orton were outside the ring.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Batista had quit earlier in the night.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but no one else was there. Um, so you remember that, sure. And then Roman turned his back here, and Sami Zayn hit him with a chair. And I was like, wow, yeah, that's a great little tidbit to play off of.
Mhm.
But honestly, I don't even think that was the part that I was paying attention to. I think my favorite part of it all was that he then put the chair down and knew he was going to get his ass beat, but he's like, I had to do it. I was done with Kevin getting beat up. And I was like, yeah, see, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. The crowd lost it, by the way. They're so into Sami Zayn.
Yes.
It's crazy what happens when you get really into the guy that's connected to the world champion that obviously isn't getting treated right by the world champion. Um, Sami Zayn was always the guy that came off to me as like a potential Daniel Bryan type character. I'm seeing it happen now, but boy, oh boy, is the next couple months going to be interesting. They booked this show perfectly. If you did this before the Men's Royal Rumble, you would have been in trouble.
Yeah, which is what I think caused a lot of the Brian Danielson issues or Daniel
Yeah.
Bryan issues with that Royal
Oh,
Rumble.
big time because he was expected to be in that. And also, I think it's why it's smart to put Cody at 30
Yeah.
because that way you don't have whoever comes out at 30 getting booed out of the building
Hmm.
because everyone wanted to see Cody. So it worked all the more. Also, isn't it kind of crazy? Just like I was thinking about this, and I saw some people say this. How like I think the crowds have changed in WWE, obviously, to the point where I don't know if they're gonna steal the show just to get Sammy in the main event like they did with Daniel Bryan, because a lot of those fans have moved on
Yeah.
to say in AEW.
Yeah.
But I do find it funny that the most over guy, not including Sami Zayn, is Cody Rhodes, the AEW guy.
Someone tweeted out recently about how everyone in the PC are pretty much just watching Kenny Omega tapes right now, uh, and it's hilarious because online the WWE fan base is like, "Oh my god, these guys are the best wrestlers right now. They're going to be the best wrestlers of the next generation. So good." And meanwhile, they're dogging on Kenny Omega and saying, "Oh, that's not. You're not. That's not. There's no psychology. Where's the storytelling? That's not how. You can't just do moves."
Oh my
It's
god, I had someone comment on me like, when I want Kenny Omega to lose, it's psychology, and I was like, do we watch? I think I watch wrestling different from you.
yeah.
Like I don't know what you're looking for, but
Yeah.
shut up, okay?
My thoughts on this main event angle were that I had a couple thoughts. One, it succeeded in what it was trying to do,
Yeah,
obviously. And more important than that, in terms of what it succeeded at, it got people to boo Roman,
yeah,
which has been missing from this whole thing. It's been missing for a
mm,
while from the bloodline. This guy's supposed to be the big heel, and he's not getting
mm,
boos, he's getting cheers. People are acknowledging him, but he was getting booed and getting FU chants and all that stuff.
yeah,
That is what was needed. And now Sami Zayn, you talked about earlier about you have an obvious heel and an obvious baby face.
yeah,
You also have it right here. And maybe
yeah,
that's a good thing. And maybe this is also the way that, Cody can be like, I don't want both titles. I just want the WWE title. And then you do Sammy as well on like night
yeah,
2 of WrestleMania. I assume they're doing 2 nights.
yeah. You could do that.
Um, that's an
'Cause
idea, but ultimately it's like you got to find a way to include Sammy. I
yeah,
think I don't know how you have to.
mhm,
Watching this angle coming out of it, there's a lot of there's that's the positives. The negatives are you can't have Sammy coming out of this angle going after the tag titles. That
I
would
know.
be ridiculous. That it doesn't make any sense. And I do another positive. I did also like the Jey Uso
Yeah,
turn,
that was
kind
good.
of. That was a nice little unexpected wrinkle. Don't know how it'll affect things, but again, you can't have Sami Zayn go after tag titles. I'll also say a negative is that I felt that it was slightly tone deaf, the ending, and maybe I shouldn't connect the dots on these two ideas. But I watched the video Saturday morning or whatever, uh, and I felt it was very tone deaf. Then 12 hours later, see a group of guys mercifully beating up a handcuffed person, defenseless handcuffed person. I thought 24 hours after it happened in real life, I thought that was a really bad look.
Yeah,
Maybe I shouldn't connect the two, but I saw what I felt saw in reality, and I saw that play out on television, and that's what connected in my brain. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe there was no intention of that. Obvious. I doubt there was any. There shouldn't have been any intention in that.
no, I'm
But
sure
uh,
there was.
but I
Yeah,
I made that connection in my brain, and it in my head it was a little tone deaf in that sense because what actually happened in real life is a tragedy, and that seeing basically the same thing happen
yeah, no,
was
I
real
get that.
rough.
I get
But beyond
that.
that, yeah, the Sami Zayn is certified babyface. Roman's a certified heel now. Well, certified, we'll see how it sustains, but right now he's a heel. Um, and yeah, they have to find a way to get Sammy involved. I think the move is you do two title matches on both nights. Have with WWE title one night, the Universal title the other night. I think that's how you do it. Have someone have Cody take the title off of one guy, or whatever. I don't know. You gotta do something. You gotta do something, and it can't
This
just
is
be
the
tag titles. I could see you and I. We talked about tweeted about a little bit about Elimination Chamber, how that could be interesting. But you got to do something with Roman and Sammy. It
you
can't just be Cody and Roman.
so so I've tried to think about like how do you do this now because having the titles combined is what kills them, obviously.
Yeah.
And this is and I do think that when you are a company as big as WWE with two shows on two different networks, you do need your two world titles.
Hmm.
I know some people hate the two world titles, but this company needs them, especially now that Roman's mostly part time.
Yeah.
Um, but I was thinking about this. How do you make this make sense? Because I think a lot of, at least me, Elimination Chambers in Canada.
Hmm.
Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are from Canada,
Yep.
obviously.
What?
I think the way you can play it now is that maybe Owens and Zayn beat the Usos, win the titles to get for Sammy to get a shot at Roman Reigns.
Mm,
So you kind of do the whole MJF type thing of you got to beat all these guys to get to me
yeah.
because you have a family lined up here.
Yeah.
Um, and maybe that can play to the Jey Uso thing. Like, does Jey Uso want Sammy to get his shot? Because obviously, if you've paid attention to this whole Roman Reigns story, Roman Reigns belittled Jey Uso at the very beginning of this entire reign. That is the whole point of this. So if you play to that, which if you'd be pretty smart if you did, and maybe Jay kind of is like, all right, go get him, Sammy. I think that would work. I think it very easy for Cody just to challenge for the WWE Championship, seeing that's the one he wants.
Yep.
He doesn't want the blue belt. He wants the WWE Championship. So I think you're onto something there. And I don't know. I think main eventing one night of WrestleMania, you main event WrestleMania. Like,
Okay.
I don't think Cody needs to sit there and be like, oh, I didn't get night two. Because last year, what was the main event of WrestleMania? It was Kevin Owens and Stone Cold Steve Austin. It wasn't Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar to me.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great way to work it. You give Cody the first big win over Roman,
Hmm.
but you also give Sami Zayn his moment.
Yeah.
Because Sami Zayn beating Roman Reigns no matter what works.
Yeah.
Now, can you do that? Are you able to feud twice with two people? I think it's possible. I don't think it's impossible. I think there's a way to make this story work for both ways.
Hmm.
Because I think Cody beating Roman is still needed. Like, them just taking a title off of Roman and giving it to Seth Rollins or something makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
Because how is that meaningful for Cody if he's beating just a guy that held it for a month?
Yeah.
So I think you're definitely onto something. Now it's just gonna end up being tag titles. So maybe none of this will matter. Maybe Sami Zayn gets a title match in Canada. Maybe they do an Eddie Guerrero thing. I don't know.
I
Eddie Guerrero beat Brock right before
Yeah.
WrestleMania. I doubt that's what they'll do, but seeing it's in Canada, it is a special spot to do it if you're going to do it. But also, I have no idea what the Elimination Chamber matches are going to be.
I would love my pitch. Is
Oh yes, I saw. Yes, you tweeted this to me.
the elimination chamber?
Mm,
If it's gonna be Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, Solo Sikoa, Roman Reigns. Those are your six
mm,
participants. You start off with Kevin Owens versus Solo Sikoa. Next entrant, an Uso. Next entrant, another Uso. Next entrant, Roman Reigns. The final entrant, Sami Zayn. So it's just basically a 4-on-1 beatdown. You basically
mm.
just do the angle as a match now. 4-on-1 beatdown of a guy. And then Sami Zayn comes in and makes the save. And then the match could ultimately be like basically a 4-on-2. And maybe the match is like the stipulation is like if if Sami Zayn wins, he can have a match against Roman on night one of WrestleMania. If Kevin Owens wins, he has a match against Roman at night one. So you also get the dynamic of like, one of them have to win. It can't. You can come down to Kevin versus Sammy, but then you can do a little drama of like, oh, Kevin is gonna fall down for me. Sammy, you do this. Sammy, you got this, or whatever. I don't know. Oh no, it's whatever it is. I think that'll be interesting to do a 4-on-2 match. Basically, I could totally see them doing that, especially in Canada. I do have concerns because it is Canada. And we all know that they don't necessarily want to do that with people, but you're in Canada, you can give them a big old pop, get more momentum. I also think Cody has to play into something. So because what that pitch is also ultimately more Sami Zayn storyline, and for moving off into Cody world, the Cody verse, then we need then that match shouldn't happen. Then it needs to be Cody involved in some sort of way. Maybe Cody versus Solo Sokoa or something. It needs to be something. So I don't know. We'll find out, I guess. But I don't know. I think this angle worked in some ways and it didn't work in other ways. It furthered other stuff that makes the Cody stuff harder to book. But because Cody is now just like Cody is like he's just the guy watching as the couples doing their thing in the other room. He's
I
the voyeur guy watching as
I
like the
did
actual
think
actions
about it
happening.
this way,
Yeah.
which would be dumb. But the whole like I was thinking of it in the um, Wrestle Kingdom way,
Hmm.
right? And it's that the Royal Rumble winner, like AJ White, is sitting there on night 2.
Mm.
So Cody Rhodes is sitting there on night 2 waiting for whoever wins between Sammy and Roman.
Yeah.
And then I thought they're not going to do it because he's so over Cody. But boy, would that be a way to make Cody the big, huge heel champ by having Sami Zayn beat Roman and then having Cody win the next night.
That would be hilarious.
It would be hilarious, but it would I don't know, it would be intriguing because you give Sammy the moment. And with these things, all the time, it's always about the moment. It's always
Yeah.
about the chase. It's never about the aftermath, right? Who remembers Daniel Bryan's reign? No one. Obviously, he had to be stripped of the titles eventually, but whoever remembers that? No one. Who remembers Kenny Omega's reign as IWGP World Champion? Even. And that's Kenny Omega, of all people.
Hmm.
Who remembers Hangman Page's reign of, it's always about the moment rather than the reign. So I did think about that for a second. It would be dumb too, because again, Cody's your biggest baby face. Maybe not named Sami Zayn. So, but I did think that could be a way to do it as
It's a
well.
good idea because if Sammy wins the title, and we haven't even talked about that, I don't know necessarily if Sami Zayn even should win the title. Um,
He
if
probably
that match
should. I
happens,
mean, people will want him to,
yeah,
obviously.
I think the match should happen. I don't know necessarily if Sami Zayn should win, but let's say he does. If he does win, he shouldn't have the title for long. He should have it for like at best a pay per view cycle, and then loses it
Yeah.
the next time.
It's how I've always felt if Eddie Kingston won.
Yeah,
It's for the moment, not for the reign. It could be literally like 2 days, 3 days.
yeah. The
Sometimes it gets it.
mankind can win the world title, but he shouldn't have the title for that long. He should lose it almost immediately.
Like that to me is how you can make wrestling so good and kind of win in a lot of ways. You give someone a reign, you give someone the big win, they have their big moment, and then you get whoever else over as a heel bad guy because they're gonna end it so quickly. It never happens, but it would work.
Yeah, yeah,
But hey, whatever. I think we've talked about enough WWE for the next fucking decade.
yeah. We give him two
Uh
hours.
we gave them 2 hours. We almost never talk about them. We probably won't do this again until Mania.
Well, we'll probably talk the chamber.
No, but we won't talk this long
Oh, that's true.
about the chamber. The chamber might be like 30 minutes tops.
That's true.
We're not
Do
doing NXT anymore, thank God. So we don't have to do that next week.
let's talk about the. We didn't talk about the betting results. I was gonna say let's do Stardom Supreme
Oh
fight,
yeah,
but we gotta
let's
talk
talk
about the
about the
actual
betting
results of the
result.
bet.
Boy, howdy, let's talk about them. So Ryan,
Yeah.
we'll start with you. We'll start with you. The men's Royal Rumble.
Yes.
Because that went first. So you had winner Sami Zayn. First in Ricochet. Second in Rey Mysterio. Oh, he never even walked in.
Didn't even get it. That's a push. That whole thing should be a push then.
Yeah, longest Cody Rhodes.
No.
Most eliminations Gunther. There you go.
Yeah,
That's one.
he tied with Cody.
Yeah, so we'll allow that. Obviously, 30th Sami Zayn. Again, tough. Cody Rhodes, Seth freaking Rollins, Sami Zayn, Carmelo Hayes as the final four. Carmelo Hayes was nowhere to be found. I thought he was going to be in this too. So
Cody and Seth were Final Four, so that's something.
yeah, so that's
that's
3.
yeah.
Oh, I think I may have miscounted to start this. So, and then plus you got the winner number, so 30.
Yes,
That's 4.
that was my number. I correctly
Yeah.
predicted number 4.
So I get 2 points for calling the winner, Cody Rhodes.
Correct.
That's what we agreed on.
Correct.
First in and second in, I picked Sheamus and Gunther in the wrong order, so I get
Ooh,
0.
so close.
Longest, Cody Rhodes, tough. Bobby Lashley, most elimination, tough. Drew McIntyre, 30th, tough. Cody Rhodes, Seth freaking Rollins, final 4. Got those 2, so that's 4. So we're actually tied at the end of this.
Hey, what were your other final 4?
Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn. So
Dang.
that was a cool final 4.
That
I
would've
did
been.
not have Logan Paul. I know, shocked.
Shocked.
I can't believe I didn't have him. So 4-4 heading into
The
the
women's.
and this
Oh
is where
boy.
Ryan's got winner Becky Lynch.
Ay.
First, Liv Morgan. Second,
That's so dumb.
second Ronda Rousey. Longest, Raquel Rodriguez. Most eliminations, Rhea Ripley. So 5 points. 30th.
No, Rhea Ripley didn't have.
Yes, she did. She had 7.
Did she have 7?
I thought so.
I'll double check that.
Anyways, 30th, Becky Lynch. Nope. Final 4.
Yeah, she had
Naomi.
7. You're right. Rhea Ripley had 7. You're right.
Yeah, so you're at 5. Final 4, Naomi, Io Sky,
Oof.
Becky Lynch,
Ah.
and Rhea Ripley. So you ended, and numbers 26 and 7. So you ended up with 6 points.
6 total. Not
6
2
total.
points from this women's
Yeah.
Royal Rumble. 6 points total.
Yeah. So the moment of truth here. For the women's, I picked winner, Rhea Ripley. So boom, 6 right there.
Fuck.
Liv Morgan first. You're stupid. Io Sky second. Nope. Longest, Rhea Ripley. Yep.
Yeah.
Nailed that one.
That or Liv Morgan would have gotten you there.
So that's my clincher. That was for 7.
Yeah.
Raquel Rodriguez, most eliminations, no. Oscar 30th, no, though that would have worked. Rhea Ripley as final 4, yep, 1. And then Oscar also as final 4, so another one. So that
Who
was
were your other final 4 people?
9.
Yeah, you're at 9.
My other final 4 people were Becky Lynch and Bailey.
Oof. So you're at 9-6.
9-6, which means, people, I don't have to watch the NWA Nuff Said pay-per-view. Ryan does, and not only does Ryan have to watch it, he has to watch it live on this wonderful streaming platform. It's gonna be great. You're all gonna be there because obviously you'll be watching with him.
Putting it on my calendar.
Yeah, so Ryan, what have you learned from this? You're the one that obviously came up with the idea. Let's do NWA Nuff Said. I think there was some confidence there that this, 2 years in a row ain't happening. You really saved me by picking a non-Rhea Ripley winner, so I appreciate that. Even though I think you originally had her as winner and then you changed it. Which again would be tough. I'm not for sure though. I think you maybe just had someone else, but you definitely did change the Becky
I
Lynch.
really had no idea.
I know. So like, where are you mindset wise now that it's all done and you are on your way to NWA Nuff Said?
Frustrated. I thought I was better at figuring out WWE's booking than I am, but apparently I'm not. I suck at it. I fed into the Naomi hype, didn't exist. Should have guessed Nia Jax. Should have just get Chelsea Green. I knew she was coming into the company too, so why didn't I just pick Chelsea Green as a surprise or something? Oh, it's just upsetting. It's upsetting to lose twice in a row, 2 years in a row. I did get the 30 right, so that's fun. Yeah. Neither of us got the numbers right for the women's, so
that's pretty cool.
I'll go home with some victory, but ultimately a bitter defeat. And I will be live streaming Nuff Said on twitch.tv, twitch.com. Twitch.tv/countout February 11th at whatever time this godforsaken pay-per-view is at. It's been a week. Do you want to do a quick NWA wrestling check to see if they have any matches announces for this card?
Oh, I sure do. Oh boy. Based off Wikipedia, they don't.
Perfect. Pay-per-view. Oh, their pay-per-view heart link goes to Hard Times in New Orleans. All right, that's useless. Oof. Yeah, no, I
Better and better.
can't find anything. Can't find anything at all. So,
This event is 2 weeks, 1 week from Saturday, folks.
Nuff said apparently is the catchphrase for a Tyrus that he uses on Fox Nation, Fox News.
So they quadrupled down by putting putting not only making him their world champion, but they named a pay-per-view after him.
And it sold out. Pay-per-view sold out.
What? Oh, it's in Florida. That actually kind of makes sense.
It's in Florida. A card hasn't been announced. The pay-per-view sold out.
So,
So join
so
me, twitch.tv/countout, February 11th, when we watch NWA Nuff Said. I'll do a live reaction as I watch that. I could be watching Defy that night. Defy Year 6 of John Moxley in a tag match against Zack Sabre Jr. Could be watching that.
you could have been.
I could
But-
be, New Beginning Osaka is that morning. I could be watching that. That's the Shingo Okada match. I can watch that instead.
Yeah,
Instead, I'll be
you
watching.
sure could have been.
I'll be watching NWA Nuff Said.
So here's what I'm gonna want from you. Since we'll be talking the next morning, actually, you're just gonna be so fresh off of this show.
Yeah.
Maybe you might quit our show because of this show.
Yeah.
But here's what I want. I'm gonna want your ratings, your ratings for each match,
I'll have that. Yeah.
if there is a match. Also, I just learned Bully Ray recently wrestled for this company, so
Yep,
you might be in for something good.
Yep.
Aaron Stevens also got married.
Good for him.
Angelina Love wrestles in this company as well.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I was going to say.
I don't know what's even happening in this promotion.
What you're going to do is you're going to just give us your ratings, your thoughts on the show the next day.
Oh yeah, we'll do a review. Are we gonna do a rare NWA pay-per-view
No,
review?
I'm not actually going to review anything.
Oh no, you'll walk me through the show and I'll review it.
I'm gonna set a time limit. This is what we're gonna do. We're going to give you 10 minutes to give all your NWA thoughts. Bang, 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 bang. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, Ryan. I don't think you're gonna have that many based off a pay-per-view that has no card, but I could be wrong. I hope, but yeah. And ultimately, I look forward to it.
Do you know that EC3 is also in this company?
Anyways. Oh, God, it gets worse.
Anyways, yeah. So that's that. That's Royal Rumble. We didn't get to Stardom Supreme fight, but that's happening
We'll
this
review it
Saturday.
next week. Baby.
Yeah, we'll review it next week. 2 big matches: Saya Kamatani and Momo versus each other for the Wonder of Stardom, World of Stardom. Julia versus Suzu Suzuki. So that'll be a great match. Not gonna be as good as NWA Nuff Said, but it's okay for Suzu Suzuki. Get it next time, Suzu. Not gonna be as good as Tyrus versus Bully Ray or some bullshit. So yeah, so I think that's it for the show. Scotty, anything to plug?
Follow me at Scotty Wrestling on Twitter. I have some articles coming out. I actually got an interview coming out today. So if you're listening to this, my interview with Risa Sarah has dropped or will have dropped by 1:30 on Fightful.com.
Nice.
So check that out. And yeah, do that. And make sure you subscribe to the Twitch channel.
Yep.
Count out, because I don't want you to miss Ryan go through pain for a second straight year. Last year, you know what? I'm going to ask you, what was worse? The worst cage matches of all time or an NWA full pay-per-view?
We'll find out February 11th.
I think I have my answer.
Join me. Match of the week?
Match of the week. There was a lot of good wrestling this week.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about shit. Absolutely just never mind. We talked about Mark and Jay, right? We count that as we talked about it, let's say.
Yeah, we talked about the Mark Briscoe match. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I won't bring that one up. So I'll give a little shout out to the women of AEW. Jamie Hayter versus Emi Sakura.
Yeah.
Rampage main event. Jamie Hayter's already the greatest AEW Women's World Champion of all time. I realized this wasn't a title match. I realized that about when it was over that it wasn't a title match.
Hmm.
So that's on me. But boy, oh boy, did they kick ass in the main event. That's women's wrestling right there, folks. Jamie Hayter can't miss.
Yeah.
She's phenomenal. Emi Sakura finally getting on TV and delivering. You love to see it.
I just had the thought of just now of that earlier comment I made about people saying that the women's division needs storylines that don't involve titles. What's bad about storylines that involve titles? I'm confused. Like, don't you want to eventually win the title? Like, isn't that the big point? Like,
Yeah, you'd think so.
what's wrong about that? There's nothing wrong about that. Those are good stories you can have. Why is it bad? Why are the stories bad if they involve titles?
To me,
Anyways,
sometimes the title helps.
yeah, sometimes it helps. The match that Jamie Hayter Emi Sakura match probably made the match better. The fact that it involved a title eliminator, you know. Anyways, follow me on Twitter at
Yeah.
Ryan Knightsey. Follow me February 11th on twitch.tv/countout. Subscribe now. Make sure you can get that because I'll be watching NWA Enough Said. My match of the week, we sort of alluded to it, but my match of the week is going to be from one of the three old matches of Jay Briscoe's life from the Celebration of Life that was released on the YouTubes and Honor Club. It was Jay Briscoe versus Adam Cole at Ring of Honor's final battle in 2014. This was the Fight Without Honor match. Great match, great plunder, great stuff, like early NXT like style of like bring great plunder and whatnot into it. You could see like, oh, this I can see how Adam Cole and brings this into NXT. Jay Briscoe did great stuff. Fantastic stuff in the match. Went through so many tables, so many thumbtacks, all that stuff. Great stuff in that match. Go check it out. Free on YouTube. Go check that out. But yeah, I think that's it for this week's episode. Until next week. I think we got through everything, so I think we can both say officially, Scotty, enough said.